Hello, hello, hello. Am I on? Are we here? Is it all good? Welcome to Tradespotting. It is I, Jamie, and this is Tradespotting. I think there might be a louder echo in this room since I've reorganized the furniture. Am I being heard? Is it working? Are we here? Are you sitting comfortably? Okay, we can hear me. Great, excellent, excellent. Okay, so today we're going to do all the TA on GME and AMC, and then anything else that we've covered previously and you want to have a look at, let me know. We'll have a look at it. Things moved a lot this morning. I know that I got a number of alerts triggered, most I've ever had in one day, and all at open. And all those alerts were on things that you guys had requested, and they were only on trades where I thought, well, this is like even beyond what most people would look to. So if you take a trade in around here, you'd get extra chocolate on your biscuit. And when those ones came up, I set alerts on horizontal lines. And this morning it opened, so many of them triggered straight away. So I imagine there might be things you'd want to look at. We'll happily do that. And of course covered the AMC and the GME. We'll see how things go there. I was on naked there, and GME 159, spot 48. And you can see I've managed to make the prices not work now. How have I done that? I'll get this ticker to work on GME. That's very important to get that fixed. There we are. That's better, isn't it? Yes, much better. Holy short naked is pumping it, eh? 'Tis, isn't it, Wilfric? 'Tis doing alright. Lots of things doing interesting things right now. So I'll switch this list to chat requests so that everybody can't see everything I'm looking at. I would say no keepos. What are you talking about, Streamlabs, you weirdo? Bing, bada bong, bada bing, bada bong. So I see we've got, pardon me, I see we've got lots of lovely people. AHT, please, I'm scared. Thanks, babe. AHT, certainly. Where is AHT on my list? Why is it not obvious there?
I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
Why does that keep disappearing off my list? Wood 1335, up 5.5% more or less today. Inside its little wedge there that we've have drawn for it. Hey, look at this. This TA is good, isn't it? And it could just turn into a channel and you'd be looking up here. This is good TA. At these parts, there's your good entry as well. So, yeah, that looks interesting. We'll cover that. No problem. No problem at all. Okay, so I am sorry, of course, with the delay. And so here I am, and I shall be doing excellent work, of course, to make up for that slight delay. Oh, look at that. Nice that we've captured this 279 period moving average, isn't it? Isn't that? We all understand why that's important now, don't we? Because we've been paying very close attention, so there is no mistaking why and how crucial it is to that to see prices above that area. Let's drop down to the 1 minute time frame. See a little bit of volume there, wee bit of a push. It's quite a lot of minutes that went up in a row, weren't there?
I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
Yes, quite a lot. Well, those are very interesting moving averages. Wow, they're really telling us about the trend, aren't they? That's interesting. Of course, my horse. Yes, we've been paying attention. Of course, my horse. She cried in vain across the stormy waters. Hello, sir. I am a new dumb trader that invested most all of my money in at it. What are the chances of it turning around? Currently, I'm down 50%. We'll certainly have a look at that for you, Michael. That pie dude hits everyone, calls them dumb on Reddit, does he? Oh, $160. We made it back. Yes. And I was here for it to happen. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so we're about to start the show now, and it's going to be a good one. So get comfortable and whatnot, and I'll see you in about 4.5 minutes. Well, I'll see you the whole time, but I'm not going to be talking for 4.5 minutes.
Got ready for the night in. She's heading for the light, but she sees the vision going, cupping line after line. See how she looks like trouble, see how she dances and she sips the Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference yet. That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. And you drop your back to the floor and you're asking what's happening. And it's getting late now, hey now, enough of the arguments. But she sips the Coca-Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. 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 That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. You drop your back to the floor and you're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now, enough of the arguments. But she sips the Coca-Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. You drop your back to the floor and you're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now, enough of the arguments. But she sips the Coca-Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. Got ready for the night in. She's heading for the light, but she sees the vision going, up line after line. Got ready for the night in. She's heading for the light, but she sees the vision going, cupping line after line. See how she looks like trouble, see how she dances and she sips the Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference yet. That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. And you drop your back to the floor and you're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now, enough of the arguments. But she sips the Coca-Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. 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 That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. You drop your back to the floor and you're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now, enough of the arguments. But she sips the Coca-Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. You drop your back to the floor and you're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now, enough of the arguments. But she sips the Coca-Cola, she can't tell the difference yet. she looks like trouble. See how she dances and she sips the Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference, yeah. She can't tell the difference, yeah. That's what you're coming for. You don't wanna let you in. You drop your back to the floor. You're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now. Enough of the arguments. She sips the Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference yet. That's what you're coming for, but they don't wanna let you in. You drop your back to the floor. You're asking what's happening. It's getting late now, hey now. Enough of the arguments. She sips the Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference yet.
Welcome back, CC Foster. Welcome to Chimp. Big welcome to CC Foster. Thank you very much. Case Tradespotting, moving my mother-in-law in a storage right now. Won't be much help today trying to listen on Bluetooth. Nice one, Case. That's probably quite a good place for her mother-in-law there, right? Tucking her into the old storage unit. Good decision. No problem. Thank you very much. You deserve a day off. Apple Blossom. She sips a Coca-Cola. She can't tell the difference yet. Happy Friday! I can't wait to understand the silent TA and not just enjoy the music. Tradespotting, Jimmy. I have recently started watching your stuff. You're a beautiful spirit, and your passion, insight, and understanding are a blessing for those of us lucky enough to have found you. Thanks so much, Segan. What the fuck is he talking about? That's Stunk Puppet. Stunk Puppet is not in agreement with you. Isn't that right? What? Stunk Puppet. Isn't that right? Stunk Puppet. So there's Stunk Puppet. I know she likes me doing the hat and that, don't you, Stunk Puppet? Yes, you dickhead. Yeah, but she's she, I don't know, genderless. It's a little bit rude. You want your hat up? Cool. So many people suspected that somehow I was in control of Stunk Puppet. As you can see, that's not possible. No hands, mum. So here you go. Above the 279 period average. What more could you want from life than GME to be above the 279 period moving average on the 15-minute time frame? I mean, what really more could you want? It's a serious question. Hold it. Nice. It's the 200 period average above 200 period average. Tradespotting, I'm going to try to help you out when I get home. Thank you very much, Case. You absolute legend. If anybody else wants to also contribute to Case's efforts, you're to be appreciated. Quick question, I'm not invested in GME or AMC. Whoa, you're crazy, Eden891, but I have been following it closely. I have 11,000 in savings. How much should I invest into the stock and in which one? Well, I can't tell you what to do with your money. That would be totally unethical. Nor can I choose between AMC or GME, but I can tell you that if I was, and it was not financial advice, and the truth is, like, it could easily cost you every single penny of it, and there may well be other options that might prove to have been better decision and things to do. But you know, my answer to that question, if somebody's like, I've got this huge chunk of money, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, I don't care what happens to it, and I'm going to put it in something, then my answer is put every single penny of it in GME. Every single cent of it in GME. But I don't have financial advice. Tradespotting, how is the Stunk Puppet dealing with the downfall of OnlyFans? Stunk Puppet was always suspected that there might be some economic catastrophe coming the way of the OnlyFans crowds, and so has always been above it and sticks to Patreon for the main source of communication with Stunk Puppet's growing audience. Stunk Puppet needs a Twitter account. GME all the way. 11k in GME. I wouldn't hesitate for a second. Not financial advice. GME is where I invested all my savings. See, there's a message coming in. Put it all in GME. All day, every day. GME's about to explode. GME, GME, GME. All mine is in GME. So there you go. That's what this, you know. And we didn't come to that conclusion because we're all somehow collectively gone blonkers. You'll see a lot of smart people. 401k all in. 90, 10 GME AMC for me, but I've had to do it over 100% GME. There you go. One true stonk. To be fair, that sounds like a great plan for the ride of your life. I did it already, can't confirm. All I do is GME. Do it now, help push it above $160. Not financial advice. Stunk Puppet is the Oracle, isn't she? Quite possibly. Okay, she's good. Coco's good too. All in on Spy. Boing. Boing. Recovered inside this channel. Come back, testing it again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And the trend continues. Bouncing off your 200 period moving average. And your yeah. Pretty good stuff here, you know. This is like the most traded asset around, you know. You call this thing, boom. Someone has a tan. Wait a minute, let me see. That's not a tan. You're talking about Stunk Puppet, obviously. That's not a tan. How rude. I'm holding GME AMC.
I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
What's a good entry for AQST? Looks like a run-up play. Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. AQST, my friends. My friends, you want to look at AQST again? What?
Thought it was pretty funny, didn't you?
You sure you don't want to look at VEQT? AQST, here we go, right? We're going to fucking do this, right? We're going to absolutely fly through AQST, right? Watch this shit. I've not looked at this, so this is fucking, let's do it, like, let's go fucking crazy. Can I please have the pause button? That would make my whole start work better. Aquestive Therapeutics. Ah, of course, and it is on my chart. Okay. Put it back on then, so it's somewhere I can get to it. Oh, look at that. Oh, look what it's doing. Oh, you've got something going on this. Oh, and then that looks positive above the 200 across here, just as it's about to go through the center line on the hourly chart. What's it look like down the low? Well, you got a positive cross there above the. That's good. That's fucking awesome, by the way. That got above the center line. Awesome. Ooh, had it there. That was your entry. You've just had your entry on this. You've just had your entry on this, maybe. Okay, right, so AQST. Aquestive Therapeutics. What the fuck sort of a name is that, by the way? This is shit. What the fuck? Why you call yourself something I can't even read? I read all the time and I can't even read that name. That's so stupid. Right. So, this is for people who like trade in things that have got ridiculous tickers and ridiculous names. Which is plenty of people. Right. I'm also going to look at this with something else on here, make us a little bit better. Just working. Give me it. Caretaker is locked, is it? Wow, I really fucked to start this up, didn't I? We'll just keep it for what it is, and then we'll make this slightly bigger so at least I can see it quicker. Right, so this is this crazy thing with the crazy ticker. It's trading in a range at the minute. It's not done anything all that unbelievable. It's below the 236, which isn't particularly great. It's a 15-minute. You can see that it's also below the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute. Though it has a positive slope, 50 period negative slope, perhaps still a period of flux, though we've come in for a lower high on this uptrend and we've broken above these. No, we've not really. 236 is also the breakout area of this little formation you're in. You need to get above that. And then the trading zone for this, so I suppose you'd have to put it in now that we're above it. There's your support underneath, and essentially you've touched that. Doom, doom, that's an alert, thanks. Don't. Why did that message not come up? There it is. Zev has a gap up and a gap down. Will they both get filled? Which one first? What percent of gaps do you see get filled in your experience? Thanks. 99. I don't know. I hate giving the percentage figures of things when I don't know them, because it takes away from the percentage figures I give for things I do actually know and are completely correct. So I can't say what percent, but I know that it's like something high, like it would be like 99 point something probably get filled on 4 hours and above, like 99 point something, high something, on hourly like 99 point something. And then underneath that, like, it depends on the asset, and often, obviously, it'll depend on the asset anyway. How quickly it might happen, and so on, and also how far it could go before it did it, and then at what point I would determine, like, well, it's not worth even thinking about that anymore. That would all depend on what the thing was. But we'll have a look at Zev, and then I'll find these gaps. If you tell me when I see them, your message. Have you heard everyone's opinion here, and you've been watching Tradespotting now? You will know what it is to. Comfort GME FUD does not fly well in here. Yeah. Thank you, my lord. Right, so you like, here we go. Trading in a range at the minute. You want to know a good entry point? Well, you're looking at it on the 15 minutes and saying it's come down, it's come up again. That wasn't all that crazy. You're below the 236. You can't even say that this downward trend is finished, and this downward trend is measured from. Why have I got so many Fibonacci's on? Wow, I'm so shit doing this. It's a shit start, and I thought it was going to be great. Thank you so much for everybody who's tuned in. Why he's worried about how I invest. Well, I've got an entry on this, it turns out. What I thought would be good. And what I thought other people could take. This one, where some people will have entered, and it's worked out well so far for them. You get an extra bit of chocolate in your biscuit. With this one, where you had an easier stop loss, was my thoughts. You know, the chances if it does bounce from here, and then recover and do what people in this trade want it to do anyway, then you'd be able to take profit sooner and still have like a risk reward ratio that would work with my edge. Would be actually like better down here, and then I can take that risk, and then there's like areas take profit above that. When you take this trade here, where you'd have to put your stop loss, would be not allowing really for take profits all that soon. So I thought this was a better entry, obviously, because otherwise why wouldn't have taken that and still put that line in here? So that's what I was thinking about that. Probably one of those times where I've said, if you like a lot of chocolate in your biscuit, there, but people will be willing to go for that one. And I'll have a serious conversation with somebody in the chat in a minute if they want to have that conversation and they've got things they'd like to talk about. I'll happily have that conversation, but bear in mind, like Shane said, FUD doesn't go very well, and if you are interested in joining the community, then you'll probably be aware that I'm a little bit volatile. So, right, you're holding this 50 period moving average on that 4 hour time frame. That's interesting, having done this recovery, and within it you were very bullishly divergent. You've had, no, you weren't. You were not. You were one stage, you were. And since then, you've kind of burnt that off. This failure to hold the 200 period moving average on the 4 hours quite clear there. In fact, it's a lower high is really quite obvious. If we draw in a Fibonacci retracement from here to our low to our high on that tiny little move, you can see we're well below the 236 here, at which point you'd expect perhaps a test down either to the 0.5 where we haven't reached it yet, or the 618, which of course we haven't reached yet. So there's your next entry, and perhaps this move has gone on from this low. It was bullishly divergent, except it's burnt it off and didn't get anywhere near the top side, and we're on the 4 hour now. So I'm going to say either you then are like the people who I wasn't like at this point, and you'll have your entry here, and then at which point you'll have your stop loss. I don't know, I mean there's this gap on the 4 hour, like we're talking about gaps there very recently. It'll likely get filled, and so your stop loss is going to have to be at least on the far side of that, and then it likely does an 886 retrace having gone there, so your stop loss is going to have to be like fucking miles down here from your entry, and again then you're looking at where you take profits in order to justify that amount of risk, right? There aren't any, so you can't take that trade if you're me. This is your trade still. This is still the trade from however long it's been on here, and like there's been plenty of other things to trade in the meantime. Regardless of how exciting it feels, this is what the chart says, and so that's what I'm looking at for my QST. I don't know when I drew this. It may only have been yesterday and that drawing already happened and I still thought about it, in which case it's like the same story at the minute. Where does it retrace to, and where there's a gap means like your entry on this move here, if you think this is a bullish reversal because of this touch of divergence on the RSI between this low and this lower low on price, but this low and this higher low here, if that gave you your buying signal, which a lot of people it did, then or you believe that that was the trade and this is still just a bullish retrace, you might think, well, in the most bullish sense, having broke the 236, the 0.5 at 3.57 is your first entry point, and then you could have a stop loss beyond the 618 at say 3.45, and then you've got a tight amount of risk, and then you could stop out of that and it wouldn't have cost you too much percentage wise of your move. If you thought this was going to go on up and break its previous high on this little move at 453, then that'd be a trade well worth taking. It's just then you're in that trade and you've got that loss, and it's the opportunity cost, and doing that when you've just put in this cross here on your MACD below the 200 period moving average above the center line, that's giving out a sell signal. So do you want to take a trade in the face of that momentum, which like it's just telling you that is the momentum, it's the other direction now. And then there's the strength of that momentum and measured via the trend on this Rocky Outcrops directional movement index that tells you that that negative trend is perhaps taking over. If it doesn't, you'll see that you'll get a positive twist on this, and you've already got the DI plus pointing up, so that's potentially happening, though as it's happening the strength of that trend is nothing, right? And so you default back to the momentum, add that into it, and you say, well, it looks like this might roll down a bit further. You look at the RSI and you can see the convergent lower high didn't break into the bullish control zone, slipped below the center line, is now retesting it, hasn't come above it on the 4 hour. There is a lower line here between where you could draw in and say, well, maybe it hasn't actually really tested this trend line yet. You know, you see it there, this third touch isn't come down and accumulate above the bullish control zone. That might be at a touch of the 618, and you could take that, then you'd be stopped out of your 0.5 to 618 trade. You just get stopped out there, and it indeed may bounce and you won't be invited to the party, because that's such a tight place to put your risk. And if it doesn't stop there, it's going miles to fill that gap and probably beyond to the 0.866. So like, you know, then you're like, where do you manage the risk? It's just a huge gap. So that has to be your entry, has to be either there with your stop then perhaps at the previous 618 of the larger fib, which you could easily be going down to, because like, look, you've just gone up and tested that, drop below its 236, and like we say, if you don't stop at the 0.5, which you're trapped below, then you'll likely touch the 618, which is down here. So then you're like, well, fuck. I can't trade this right now, and that's why you can't trade this right now. If you're like me, you wouldn't. You can't. You got to pay bills. You can't do that. It's not fucking about, right? So that, and I'm not saying yours is not at all the inflection. I'm just saying for like educative purposes, that's the way I would talk about things. And then anyway, here you got your 618. It's like just above that, the top of that zone. You come in here and put in another touch of bullish divergence on a 4-hour time frame. You test in at like lows on the left here of your previous drop down, and you could say that maybe, perhaps then, maybe having tested this left shoulder, maybe this is the low point of an inverted head and shoulders, which now it's stretched out a lot. Maybe it is, and if so, that's got a really good possible measured move on it. If you can catch it at the right time and have the right risk management, then you don't need to really care if this explodes or not, because you've already got a good trade. And if it does explode, all the fucking better, right? Because you'll manage your risk and you'll let the top side run by following it up with a trailing stop. If it goes through the take profit levels, which you can afford to use now, you can apply that framework and that structure to both sides of the trade, having chosen a smart place to get in at. See how this all like then, so you're like, but how do I ever get the trades that make me millions of bucks? Well, they're the same trades that will make you $150 if you just play them properly. And that's the only trade you should ever be entering, is one that will give you, like, sit there and you can click a couple of buttons, you can make $150. Like, you know, that's a blessing. So you don't need to get too excited about crazy ass breakouts if you get the right type of trading strategy on the go. And it does suggest that there might be one, but it would just, I would be looking for bullish divergence, for the prices to come down again, test this golden pocket on the left, put in some sort of test of the horizontal that was formed on that. There's a macro move we're looking at on a 4-hour, talking about that formation here. It is an inverted head and shoulders, it is a reversal pattern, it is at the bottom of the trend. It does come on the right hand side, having now put in more bullish divergence with another touch lower, perhaps on a 1414 extension of this whole drawback. Little drum at 69.69. Sorry, you're funny. Holy fuck, I can't wait to read what you've been saying, buddy. Little dumbass, you're a total legend, my friend. Right, so in here you've got, and who was it asked me that question about the 11,000 bucks? Was it, where was that question? I'm sorry, I'm taking a break out from this fantastic technical analysis that I'm doing right now, and these really good lessons that I'm giving everybody, to have a little break and find out what's been said. Whoomp. Hi Turnip, how you doing? Hi Luke, how's it going? 8 Puddle, Cockroach Rancher, how you all doing? Daniel, you legend. CC Foster, how you doing there, new friend? What popcorn? Only huddle GME. Turnips, that is cruel. People get the wrong idea. They think I don't respect the AMC. I do. I was just well cheesing when I looked at how it had done what we said it would there. I can't see what's happened. Maybe this boy is gone. But if it's not over money, that's where you're not spending this yourself. The stock has lost of value, so your comment makes no sense. I can see Eden. You see Eden, right? That's the starter of the same city I live in, so perhaps you're from Edinburgh. If not, I'd wonder why you've got that name. I don't know what your conversation you're having, but I can see that the last part of your message there, so your comment makes no sense. That's like unlikely to be true, because KT's very good at making sense. It's and that's the maybe what's people have identified, if you don't know yourself, why people have identified that you're slightly different from the culture that goes around here, is that we're all like try to teach each other with respect. And so when you don't understand somebody, it's kind of a little bit of take it from me, right? And the way I run these shows, it's kind of on you to understand other people, like it is in everybody else's personal responsibility to understand me, rather than my responsibility to make myself understood. It really isn't. It's not that kind of deal at all. So anyway, this is what I would say in terms of making myself understood, though. Like the 1414 extension of this move, should you be somebody who was thinking, well, I'll take this and I'll hedge it and I'll short it or whatever, the extension of that down move, should you have entered it at this test of the 200 when you had a very good MACD confirmation, or this second one where you had quite recently another very good one. These are the two people who are conversely looking at this, or both looking at this and thinking, well, 1414, 1618 would be the maximum you would look on that move. because we look left and you see the horizontals plus it comes in with the right Fibonacci levels. And if this person was entered it at this high instead, that's the wrong way around to be doing that, but the low would then start here. It's gone beyond the 886, as you can see. It's done the full retrace and then some, and then you would think like 1414, similar deal. So this is where you'd be either looking for an entry here, where you'd likely already be putting in a lower low with bullish divergence and touching an important level on the left, with a stop just beyond the next one and the entry here. Alternatively, you could move that down again, and it may well be what happens. It may well be that looking to enter here isn't the best suggestion, or is, and it's already done a recovery. It holds this area, it holds the 0.5, and then it goes on up again, recaptures these moving averages, breaks its horizontal resistance on the top side, and if it does, goes on and comes back again, right, because that would be a breakout, then your entry there would be 453, which is higher than it is now, but it would still be encompassing the same type of risk management, and you could use that and your lower moving averages to measure your stop. Plus, I've got a video on how to trade breakouts, which I'll put on later on in the show. It only lasts 4 minutes, and it'll explain how you would take a trade from there. It's been watched about 400 times, and I'm sure a good 40 of them were me, and another 40 will be Rocky, and then the rest will be my dad. Anyway, so you've got this potential trade here, and that's like compromise between an even more extremely risk management style, let's just wait it out type of thing. But you do want to trade something. You do think that you'll take a risk if it does go through and you've got the right signal on all your indicators, and I'd work that and say, if you're only using these three, which, because I can't stay on this asset forever, and what it would look like, well, I'd want to see the 4 hour do what we talked about there, and then I'd look for it on a 30 minute, I'd look for a bullish candlestick pattern on the 30 minutes. Not going to see it with the nature of this likely, so then I'd want some other confirmation. I'd want it to be really, 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 really good cross here. There's a 30 minute one that came at a test of this 200 period moving average. On this timeline here, you have one good one. It depends what happens with this. ADX turns up and the DI plus crosses the DI minus when it's above 38, and the ADX makes it up to 38, sure, you'll then see a breakout, and this is the entry, and this is the low of this move, and that's a good trade, right? It is, and you can have an entry here and a stop just below it, that area of resistance. You even got your 200 period moving average, right? So this is actually a really good trade, but the move, like the entry, was here. So that doesn't mean it'll necessarily be a good entry the second time it gets there, though. I mean, I'm trying to give you all the best options for it. Then it's there's your 200 period moving average retest. You've got this area of horizontal support, which also doubled up on, or else you've got one below. If it goes into that one, you could like go beyond it. You've got that there. Say it drops below and it's a stop point. You see you've got your horizontals on the left there, and you've got that like. Is that enough? Then I'd take it below this one as well, and I'd be so tempted to just go there, and then it's like, well, where's your 2.87? That's not going to go all the way there maybe, but you could get into it and follow it with a stop then up into profit and say, where's your first one? That works out as 2.55. That's a worthwhile trade, because you could, but it's already moved half of it, so it's now no longer. So that's it, that's it. If you'd asked me an hour ago, I might have given you that entry. I probably would have, but now I can't. And so it's down here. Sorry. That's it. That's that. Hope that was helpful. Please rage. It warms my cold heart. Tradespotting. Clocking in for my Friday shift. I have to tell you, the work is amazing, and I sure can't wait for payday. Shepherd's a unicorn. You're a legend, my friend. Thank you for all the nice words here and elsewhere. I am not a cat. Try longer words. Did you say you're following this for a while? What's happening, Elliot? Ed, and I don't see much of the following conversation. I'm going to look at Zev quickly for leptin. Eden 891. You see, this is what's happened here, right? Now I can't speak to how legitimate you are, sir. Sorry, sir. Blinkers. You're speaking to Bloodshot Blinkers. Here's now another. Like, these are two incredibly nice people you've now targeted with comments that aren't friendly. And I know these people. They are very nice, friendly, respectful people. No, I am having an honest discussion. Is that suddenly fud and shill? Normal conversations? Exclamation mark. See, that is right. Is saying that the people you're speaking to are unreasonable. That's true, they are, right? But you're saying I'm having an honest discussion, the inflection being that the other discussions people aren't honest. And so what you're doing is you're already implying in the very first part of your sentence that the other people you're speaking to are delusional. So that means that you're making your mind up about other people and their judging them and their investment decisions. And you've already done all of that. Well, you then pose a question and try to frame it as a honest discussion. And while it might be honest in the sense that your motivations are entirely transparent and everybody can see what you're trying to do, as evidenced by everybody thinking that you're a shill and a fanny. I've never said anything. I wasn't directing this cultural understanding and this hardening of people's attitudes. This has happened before. You're not on some new path. That direction you're taking, that method of communication, we've had it for ages. We've had the whole conversation that you want to have, and on every stage of it, you and people like you get exposed to be perhaps a bit of a fanny, and then yet. Despite that obvious fact becoming apparent to everyone, and so strongly so that it must therefore also be apparent to the person who is being a fanny, they still somehow want to insist on having the conversation in order to infer that the people on the other side of it are crazy. And what you don't realize is that you underestimate people's intelligence, because it isn't that you can do that and behave like an asshole because you're smart. It's because you're not smart that you make decisions to behave like an asshole. So those people who are nice, that see it, that do or even don't comment, they know, that you're a fanny, because it's so obvious to them that they could not be trying hard to be a good person. They could not try hard to speak with respect to people in chat. They could not care about how offensive it might seem for you to judge them. And certainly their investment decisions on a channel where they're all talking about something that they clearly care about. They know that they could just not try and let shit happen. But they all actually try, and they're all being dead nice. And so when somebody's not like that, they distinguish themselves quite clearly. So I don't need to rage or tell you you're a fanny. Everybody knows by now. It's like everyone knows. And that's why your messages are getting deleted and it's by moderators who are like super very smart and nice people, and there are other people who'll challenge you, like Luke here says, what stocks do you own, Ed? And you'll just get embarrassed. Like, they'll put you on the spot and embarrass you. You'll show yourself up. You've already attracted the attention of people who know more than you'll probably ever know, mate. Evidenced by not just the way you approach things, your method of communication and so on, but the fact that you don't obviously know, which everybody should do by now, the GME is going to explode. It's fucking obvious. The charts have been saying it for fucking ages, and it's done quite well today. It's also been following like what is potentially like a bullish move towards the top of a huge breakout, that sort of thing. So like, why do you show up now? The timing of your entrance with that type of attitude is so very counter to what anyone would normally do. People turn up now, be asking things like, now is the time to buy GME? Is now maybe the end of the sideways trading? Now might we go up? Not, but something, shill fud, you guys aren't speaking to me reasonably. We getting into AQST calls, or are shares better right now? I haven't had a look at the open interest and whatnot. If I had done, maybe it would have an influence on this. Yeah, I think you're getting perfectly good feedback from everybody in chat there, you know, and like, I mean, it's on you to like communicate with people in a way that shows you respect them, you know, or else they just won't give you the time of day. You know, you can have a conversation in a room full of people and nobody will fucking listen to you if they're not interested in doing so. And if they are interested in talking to you and it's taking the piss out of you, that's not because of the way you look or the sound of your voice or anything like that. It's because you've offended them, like, and that's on you, right? You know, Shill's in the chat, super bullish for GME in the channel. Does seem like that, you know. You do get that impression, eh? Like, they do tend to turn up when you're like, maybe it'll break out. Maybe this is a change in trend. Here we go again. Thanks, Daniel. Lipton. Tradespotting just got back from post office. I sent you and Rocky something special. Oh yeah, postman seal PO address is quite unreasonable, and he hopes you get it. Lols. I'll message you the tracking. You're a legend, Lipton. Thanks so much. Look forward to it, man. I should share that PO box details in the description, but I don't have them at hand, and I've got to do some work, I suppose. Hey, to move on from the sales, how about that AHD Tradespotting? Yeah, damn sweet. 13:28, top of the channel. Come back here in 30 minutes, touching these nicely splayed moving averages. We just need them to catch above the 200 period. The 200 period moving average is your trend check. More specifically on the hourly, I'd look at it here. So the lower side at the top of this potential channel, which is far away from the breakout of this wedge, which itself is likely to only make it up to this level of horizontal level. Oops. Although that was quite funny, that went all the way to 236 just by coincidence. You've got your 200 period moving average, which will come in around here. You've got the 60% for this measured move out of this wedge, more or less. You've also got horizontal and 200 period and lots of different reasons why that might happen. Here's your entry when it gets to the top of here and breaks out. That's how you want to trade this. From a breakout, or obviously this horizontal test in here, either are good. I mean, you're already in this, right? So you don't need to worry, right? You got a stop loss, so you don't need to worry, and you got an edge that works over time, so you really don't need to worry. And then you're all surrounded with really good company, so you definitely don't need to be anxious. Indeed, you could be right on the edge of really, really enjoying trading, probably. Like this entry here, if you've got that sort of thing anywhere between here and here, what are you getting at? Anything around here is fine. It's the bottom side of this thing you'd worry about. It's never going to fill up that much before it moves, and the chances of it moving down at this stage are a little bit unlikely. I mean, again, it's the same situation with AQST in that you start looking left and seeing like there's these incredibly important lows and that. I'm sure it's not got the same head and shoulders thing, but it has got what potentially a double bottom. This low, obviously lower, these low in air. Let's see what prices do. The RSI has recovered from the bearish control zone. That's interesting. As that's happened, the prices have continued down. You know, there's a long streak of divergence there at the very edge of this whole move, which gives credence to the idea that it's a bullish accumulation pattern and that that's a downward sloping wedge and that it's going to break up. And if the RSI covers above the center line and the MACD, as it is doing, crosses the signal and slow and fast line crosses center line at the same time, and it looks as though you might get like a really good signal in this with there also being a positive cross between the MACD and the signal line as they cross the center line, which is like fucking ace if you're also got a momentum change coming, which you might do on the histogram, but you'd see that afterwards. You can see everything on the build down there. That's understandable. People will be worried that the next shift of the momentum is going to take you way down again, but this is it, right? I mean, it's scary because you're at like real all-time lows, but also that's fucking ace, you know, because then when you manage your risk properly, it's all cool, and if it pulls away, then it's so exciting, and you're allowed to be excited about stuff. I certainly am. If the trade's already open and I've set my plan in that, then I like getting excited about it. So AHT, I mean, like if you're already in, you're looking at it, you can follow it up with a stop loss too if you do get a move out of this, and you then want to put like a stop in profit just at a retest of the wedge. I'd actually, if you could get it and the move went up high enough, went above on like 4 hour, it went above open and closed above 15.59, I'd be laughing. I'd move my stop right up there, because if it does come back below that, it's likely a retest of this wedge. Maybe it doesn't get all the way down, but like the horizontals from this breakout might play a role part in it, some part of this wedge, and then you could probably take it again, and that's quite a huge chunk of a move. It's a huge chunk of a move if you get that all the way up to like, if you could even take profit up here at 1745, that's an important area of resistance. You could take a lot of profit there, and then manage our entry if it comes with a retest here down at the 1550, or then look again at a retest of this wedge. I mean, if you're already in this, it's kind of exciting, and if you do stop out, no problem, right? Not really. And see where it goes. It comes back, and if it does come back from a lower low and break above this area of resistance, which it would then be, but it's currently very interesting support, at that stage you might think, hey, this is going to go crazy, which it might well do. What have I missed? Have I missed anything? Daniel, are we allowed to go mail you substances? I got some left over. I'd happily let me know. Once Dunk Puppet Coco don't karate fight. I want the you want a karate. Well, that's more likely to happen if that delivery arrives. There's the link there from Lipton Inc. What a legend. Can I pin that message? Why can't I pin it? I can copy it and then pin that. Thanks so much, Lipton, you legend. Brilliant, eh? So if you ever want to send anything, you can send it there. Replace pin message. What was the pin message before? The merch function thing. PO box, which I like. It's a brilliant function. And see if you that's the thing with that whole system. Like YouTube are quite good about it. If you click on the merch thing from YouTube give me like an extra £1 or £2 or something, or they pay some fee somewhere down the round for me, which is nice of them because they take fees from everywhere else. But yeah, thanks so much. PO Box info for Jamie and Rocky up there. Thank you so much, Lipton. I look forward to seeing what happens with that. Bring fundamentals to the tea party is a bit silly in general since they get used to explain the moves afterwards. Yeah, isn't it? It's all like, this is the thing too. Like, I hate people who just sit there and explained everything that previously happened in the technical analysis. You want to know what, like, understand the context of what's happening right now, and then what that likely means in advance, rather than like, yeah, this is what happened for the last week. Like, yeah, cool. I mean, that's important too, and if you can describe that properly and give context to stuff, fantastic, and that's what I try to do. But fundamental analysis is nearly exclusively about stuff that's happened in the past. It doesn't mean anything, and likely it's been baked into price beforehand, because it's all about doing like expectancy in that. It's all about in advance and speculation too. So once the news is out, buy the rumor, sell the news, and that. It's kind of like that. Can you play more club music, Tradespotting? Right now, Sean. This reminds me of me, like 4 or 5 in the morning, and everyone's like talking about the next day and that. I'm like, as an American, how bad is Fanny? How bad is it to say over here? Not bad at all. It's a perfectly nice compliment. I call most of my friends a fanny quite often, frequently call them a fanny all the time, and nobody bats an eyelid. Should say it more often. I think it should be said everywhere. A perfectly good insult or compliment, if you ask me. What Spy do? Spy, what I do, it bounced back into its channel. Boink. Higher low on RSI. Recovered above the center line. It's a 4-hour time frame, so it's significant. Had an obvious bounce area here for. Why was that obvious? Why is there not more drawings on this? I had wedges and channels and wedges, and that's why. Here we are. Yeah, it came down. It tested 279 period moving average on the 4 hour or the 1 hour. very important, that 279 period moving average. And then after that bounce, it recovered the 200 period moving average and the 236 of that move, at which point you're looking to the 618. It did that move, and when we talked about all of this, and this is like the most commonly traded asset in the world perhaps, and we called it to what, the 10 cents, something like that, and both ways on the move, and in the face of, oh my god, the world's falling apart, and oh my god, it's gonna go up, and oh my god, it's terrible. Red Jess Queen told me she'd rid the chat of shills with a runic glory spell in exchange for Cumcoin. I think I've been scammed. Do you want me to have a look at it for you? Have a look at your VHG. It does sound like a bit of a scam. It does sound like a bit of a scam if you ask me. And I've heard it tell that the same said person thought that technical analysis was hocus pocus. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. It's so shiny and silvery. What SPY do is my new favourite tying. It's W80 SPY do, Harriet. Surely you know that above all people. The GEC over in the US and C is a way worse word than fanny. Oh, boop, boop. Yeah, this is the thing. In Scotland, you don't go around calling people a cunt. You just don't do it unless they're a very, very good friend. And if they aren't, and you say that to somebody, you should just expect a swift headbutt and questions about why you did it afterwards. Oh, silly me, I forgot my Friday dose of Runic Glory. It's very important on Fridays. Very, very important on Fridays. Can't go anywhere on a Friday without your Runic Glory. Don't be silly, guys. Come on. Don't forget your Runic Glory. So that's what SPY did, yo. And did somebody pay? Because if they did, I don't want to give a shitty answer like that. But that's what it did. It's the answer. That's the true answer. Tony Lou. Tony Lou's a legend. What's Tony saying? Where are you, Tony? And how are you doing? And who was that said that back to him? DMC17. Yo, where's it going? Tony Lou's been around for a long time. Where are you, Tony? What have you been saying? Look, see you and say hello. Thanks for that donation, H. Have I got a fucking top chat, you stupid thing? Why are you doing that? Why is that a thing anyway? For me, like, why have I got that on there? YouTube doesn't want me to see messages from people that YouTube deems not to be important enough. It's like, where'd you get that from, YouTube, eh? Bum bum ba. Okay, I want to be insulting but not offensive. Cool, yeah. Well, you can call somebody a good cunt. That works. That was a good one. You call them a good cunt. That's really good. Like, I can't see why anyone would hate that or hear it and be offended or upset or whatever. And in which case they deserve to be offended and upset. You know, like if you say someone's a good cunt, you're probably talking about a guy and that. So, is that crypto? Coin crypto. She's made the same offer for casting spells, but I guess I misunderstood and mailed her a bunch of coins that well, you know. When chess-spotting. Reverse head and shoulders on 30-minute GME measured move 162. Okay, here we go. Essay. 30 minutes. Well, there's 30 minutes. Here's GME. Reverse head and shoulders. Bump, 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 bump. Well, which one are you talking about then? Yeah, let's do this. Measure move 162. 162 is only down here, so you must be talking about something absolutely tiny whiny itsy bitsy lemon squeezy. You're talking about this. You're talking about this then, right? Cool. Shoulder. Wow, that was so bad. Shoulder. Shoulder. Head. Dip. And what do you need to do that? Well, one of the things you need between the left shoulder and the head is a touch of divergence. That would be nice. Do I see it there? No, so that's not great. So one of the things I'd look for, and you do want to add in a lot of different things on this one. Your right shoulder, when it drops down, tests the level of support is entirely equal here, so no problem there. And where was it on RSI? Yes, it was above that bearish control zone, but it was below the center line, though it then broke through the center line on the move up here and touched this 382 reversal point. It may have already done most of what you'd hope to get from that head and shoulders. Also, if you look left and see horizontal support here is quite firm, and the next level above is 161 a bit, so maybe you are thinking it'll go the full way. The wick on that takes to 162.30, so that's what you're looking at, 382 retracement on this fib. The problem with that is, of course, that you're crossing this diagonal sloping resistance, and that you've already done, I would suggest, a lot of the measured move from that head and shoulders, which is like maybe 161.47. You know, it's hard to say exactly where it is. Maybe it's slightly lower than 162, in which case you're even closer to this diagonal resistance, and it's going to take something extra to break through it. So I am interested in the idea of an inverted head and shoulders here, but it may well be that that inverted head and shoulders is like part of a greater pattern that's perhaps like, and I'm not saying this is it, right, but that could be something like this here. You know, could be, comes up, tests that, comes down again, and then this horizontal forms like the right shoulder here, and then you'd look for an entry there, and that would hopefully come as your RSI was above the center line here on the 30 minutes and was getting a positive bounce. And at that point you'd think, well, hey, you've not come back and tested the lower side of this channel in a while. We've come up here and put in what was a concerted downtrend on that 30 minutes and bounced below previous support, sure, but like you say, there's a reversal pattern within this move. Come back up and then easily do what it's done already and not break horizontals, come back down and then put in a real test of something. Because having gone lower than here, you're wondering, is the move, you know, it's not as it does it going to go up and go all the way up to 167? Because that's then testing the counterpart. You know, at this point it's put in, from this section of the chart, it's put in a lower low. So does it then go up and at least test the previous high? And if not, then that's like a degree of bearishness there. But if you were to flip that same logic around and say it comes up here, traces through, follows this like resistance line, but it's constantly touching it, making it more and more significant, at the same time weaker and weaker, despite it being downward sloping, and then you get another retest and put in a bigger picture inverted shoulders, possibly. I don't think you can do much more formations on the 30 minutes other than what we've already been in. This is a downward sloping channel. We're still within it. Nothing really changes there. We've fake out moves, 2 of them. Both of them you can see that the place where you broke out was significant, and then you came back in again was significant, and again when you've held it above it on that subsequent break, you're making it significant. This one traced it on the way down, and so even just getting over this top of this thing up at the 162 on that inverted head and shoulders might not be the be all and end all. But yeah, I mean, just from the way you think about things there, and you're like, look at these patterns you're in, you add things in, it's good then that you were pointing out that inverted head and shoulders there's also a good one. It's good work, good spot, you know, spotting them and learning about how they work and then looking back and seeing it. It's also possible that this is in a wedge. Wedges become channels, and we've had it drawn as wedges at various places at various times. Obviously this small channel, this bigger overall channel, haven't touched this top line, that's what I was trying to make that point. And then not having come back down to test this area of support underneath, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then not having tested it again. It's real, significant, it's there, and above us you've got shitloads of tests on the top, and you know that's real too, so even though you've been below it, you know what I mean. But like I say, you can make it something else, like perhaps it was something like a descending triangle in this area here, in which case that would be your 75% of that filled up. That would be where you would also expect it to make a move out of this. Sure, that is more commonly breaks down than breaks up, but it also has a measured move within it, which should you go that way, you could go, well, it would be something like this. Jimmy, don't move the wrong thing, mate. Should it get to here and break out on a retest of that sort of zone, you'd get back up to these sort of areas, still not putting in like any sort of macro highs, but 175, 176, you'd make the 618 retrace of this Fibonacci, and that would be the measured move from this formation, which would then give credence to price action when it started moving there. That would increase the velocity and the likelihood of it reaching that target. But it might not even be the price, that this might not be the dominant pattern. It might just be confluent with the move from something else, which would be like this greater inverted head and shoulders with this shoulder here on the retrace from the low here, which itself was an inverted head and shoulders. And this was what I was doing with the cup and handles, and if it starts doing it with the inverted head and shoulders all the way until it builds into a bigger one, then that's welcome as well. Like you had your shoulder, you had your head, you had your shoulder. This is this bigger one. This is the one you're talking about, mate. It's also possible that you're in something like this one, And these are all reversal patterns, all coming at the bottom of this trend, all coming in at a confluent low. And then you look left and you think, whoa, that's similar to the multiple tests it gets when it's down here. What sort of head and shoulders have you got in there? Not really. These are all little mini cup and handles and stuff with the retraces. And then big cup and handle, and then into a huge one. So, oops. So that's what happens, when reversal patterns start. It's not like everyone's trying to force a cup handle onto the charts. Like, no one gives a flying shit. The vast majority of people trading it don't even know about it. It's not about that. It's the psychology behind it, and how that happens to manifest itself on a chart. Often looks like this pattern, and so when you spot that pattern, it's like proxy for spotting those people and that market participants, and you can work out that their psychology is quite easily. So over here, it's the same thing. People are trying to put in this reversal. They're getting it at what they think are lows, and then it comes back before and drops a wee bit further, and that's like often signifies areas of large accounts accumulating, because they think, well, I want the liquidity. I've got a huge account. If I hit the market with fucking a piece of this, it's going to make it so the price goes up, so that it's out with my risk corridor, so that I can't add it to my fund in the way that I want to, so that I'm on the slow end of fucking profits here when all my mates have already made it. And you want to, as a large account, not adversely affect your own chances of making money. You're the whale. You have to knock the prices to you, right? So there are limit orders so that they don't immediately knock a massive put on the range. They're all spread out. They're in various different areas, alternative trading systems, or on the lit exchange. They're under various different brokers, and what your main big account does is knock it down just when it got to what everyone thought was a good entry, push it just beyond their stop loss, and wash people out. And it's a liquidity hunt. And you have to do that, right? You think that's nefarious activity, that's esoteric behavior, that's unlikely, Jamie. Who's going to put that much effort into it? Everybody. It's imperative you do it. You cannot trade a large account without doing it, unless everything you do is on the options market, and everything you do is, again, hidden in other ways. You have to do it this way. If your balance is so big that it will affect the book, you can't do it any other way, right? So you see it there, you create the liquidity for your own trade. Other people have to give you their shares. They have to give you them willingly. So you have to trick them into doing it where it's beyond the area where they believed it was a good idea in the first place. And that might be consciously changing their mind, or it might be triggering their risk. So you trigger their risk management by getting it to the sensible place to put a stop, which is why you can't trade with stop losses on highly manipulated markets, which is why it's even more important that you do technical analysis, which is why anyone who tells you that technical analysis doesn't work is either a shill or they're stupid. This is a bottom line, and you don't have to waste your life listening to them. You don't have to give them any credibility by following them on the internet. You are perfectly entitled to use whatever language you feel like, on whatever platform you feel like, telling them to fuck off! The fucking idiots! We know what you're doing! We know where you come from! We know who sent you! And if you didn't get sent by them and are operating on your own accord, then you're the biggest fucking fan this, making millions and millions off people like you and your parents' backs, watching you do their hard work for them. You fucking traitorous bastard! Fuck off! And that's how they steal your money, and that's what they do, and that's why technical analysis is important. So that doesn't happen to you. These sort of reversal patterns, head and shoulders, only have a typical success rate of about 40%. And that's with all of the things that you'd like to see, including divergence between the left shoulder and the head, which on the 4 hour you don't have. No, wait a minute, you do. You've got touches of it as it came in, and that's enough, and you also have it, clearly do indeed actually have it here. So it's a really good head and shoulders, and it looks like a really good move. What you really want to see is this breakout go beyond the 618 rather than hit it and come back to test this area, at which point you'd be trucking your demand line underneath, and you'd say maybe it was something like this here with a fake out on the bottom side of the wedge, and then a healthy retest at the top without actually coming back down, which it didn't really do. And at that point you might say, well, it's already had its retest, and so it might go beyond the 618, and if it does, great, because that's your horizontal from not just there, but where this move started, and reclaiming this type area, and then taking it up and then taking a retest of this area again. That was very significant the last time it did it, and that's exactly what you'd have done if you got above the 618 here. It's more or less the same area up here. You come in, retest down there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Back in a minute, was going to make some more coins for HS Queen and just felt it's like tingle to get the job done. Nice. It's good for your health, that. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Fabian. Very much, Fabian. Down. Thanks for the tinnitus. I've got headphones in and gloves on. Couldn't turn it down. Nice work. Tinnitus, welcome to my world. Pratik, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you. Pratik's a good guy. Been around for a long time. If you don't recognise him, say hello. Preach. Roller King Jamie. Well, loads of people came in with messages there. Thanks, Mr. Buddy. Daniel Assange, dead. Somebody's dead. Mic drop. I wasn't planning on getting annoyed right now, but it happens. You never plan on getting annoyed, do you, Mike? Yeah, cool. Thanks, everybody. Suppose. Short the Vix is in chat. Yo, how's it going, Short the Vix? You legend. I love Short the Vix. I think he's fucking cool as. And he knows the shit. Like, a lot of people are just out there talking crap. Short the Vix knows stuff. Where is he? Short the Vix. Hello, Short the Vix. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Freaking legend. Well, it must be late where you are, or dead early. Which is it? Wait a minute. No, actually, it's maybe now a reasonable time for you guys. What time is it here? 8:30. Oh, we're nearly into the edge of power hour. Right, and we haven't done anything on AMC, which is what Short the Vix just reminded me. Can't hell, this chat has gone to the dogs. Phonetic duck. Quite possibly. The chat is diabolical. It might actually be. Just how many cunt variations there can be if enough apes are on typewriters. Yo! Right. Say hello to Short the Vix, he's a legend. Us Scottish are extremely passionate. Yes, it's true. We are. We don't even know it until we meet other people who point it out. Let them know, Jamie. I'm letting everybody know. I think I am. That rant was awesome. Cheers. Yes, this is it now. I am a little bit of a circus performer, it seems. But it's not really, what is it? It's not contrived. I'm fucking pissed off about shit. Right, so that's what you're looking at on GME. It looks fucking fantastic. AMC, it's broken out of this bullish engulfing bullish accumulation here. If it was that wedge, it looks very, very spindly, right? You say this is a bit of a skinny wedge. This is like a mini meal. It's like if you wanted a bit of pizza, but you were afraid to eat too much pizza. maybe even it was a vegan pizza and you were afraid that it's going to put too much on the hip, so what you do is you'd like cut up the tiniest little slice of it just so you could get a taste of the thing, and then maybe watch somebody else eat it and be happy, and then you feel, oh great, and then that sort of wedge, right? It's that sort of wedge. Not very much sustenance, but still, the measure move on it was quite tiny, but you've managed to use that and got above your horizontal support and resistance. That's good. If you can maintain this on the higher time frames, then good, right? And if you test the top side of this resistance within the channel you're in at the minute, it's going to be fucking epic, by the way, because you haven't come anywhere near the lower side. You've put in 3 touches on a higher series of higher lows. You've got increasing momentum. You had your cross on the 4-hour way back there on the 30 minutes. It looks like you've also recently had one, yes. Very good one. That'll come up. It'll fluctuate a little bit around the center line. See, this is what you really want to fucking happen here, right? What you really, really want to happen is there to be a little bit of hesitation as this moves up. Perhaps your 279 period moving average and the 200 period moving average play a part in that. Your 50 period certainly. Come up, touch the, maybe not even touch the top of this channel, right? Actually just use this horizontal here. This part of the breakdown at the start of that wedge. That's where you'd be looking for price action to perhaps get to, perhaps even wick and then come back down and touch one of these lines. You've done a good retest of that 236, having got to the 618 and bounced so well. It's all about getting above this line here, this line at 3502. You get it back above that, it's not your 36 period moving average, it's not your 50 period moving average, it's nor is it your 200, it's all about this 618 up here, which at that stage would mean you'd have broken out of the downward sloping diagonal resistance, so you'd have already like broken the thing that was controlling psychology. Was like that psychology would have changed despite the fact that the horizontal hasn't, so you could look for a retest and get a really good entry with really low risk at that point. But that is higher up than now, so maybe you would think about it and think, well, like here we've got that line there because we thought this was a potential retrace and area to get in at, and it was. You might be looking for that and thinking, yo, buying it up here, I'll take it on a retest. You might think, I'll just buy it on this move here. The area you want to get above is the 3502 because that's your resistance from this breakdown point here. When it got below there, it was also the breakdown here. It's when this formation started, though that formation was bullish. This has come off positive news. You'd have to wonder about that news and say, how was it disclosed and for what purposes? But it's come at the sort of time that where people would be trading it. See, I don't fucking trust people, so I don't know. But that's good. You want to see how it performs from here. Right now isn't an entry. It's either on a test of this 200 period moving average on 30 minutes, which it's already had, and then now you've not got that move anymore. Or it's back down here at a test of this horizontal support, at which point you'd wonder why it got so low. Because that would be the nature of this formation, is that the top line is just so steep that it, like, that's why I would say it's not actually even real. It was kind of laughing drawing it. Maybe it's more like that though. You've got your touches and can't put shit all on that first one here, but here you would say so, and that, imagine, is the measured move you've already got so far, so pardon me. Yeah, you've already got all of that, so this like quite easily oscillate here the way it did on the left hand side, come back down, touch this area again. You'd say, is it rolling over? Is it a head and shoulders? No, it isn't, because it's not at the top of a trend, really. It's only like actually in a downtrend here. Couldn't have a head and shoulders work like that. You'd look at it and think, yep, it's that downward sloping resistance. If we go up a few timelines, say on the daily, yeah, still looks like a bull flag to me. Still looks like a bull flag to me, Sonny Jim. This body close, and this wick. They're the 3 areas where you'd like to see this bounce at. If it does it and it comes up from here, and this was a bull flag that comes from its best and the lowest it ever managed the bears to get, it was on the very wick low of the candle that was definitively part of the upside of it. That'd be the most bullish scenario. It could easily come in and test either of these 2 down levels, which would give you even better risk management. But like in terms of what profit you're going to make, it's very little the differences you're talking about when ultimately the move up to the top side is at least or more than certain amounts. Go off, Jesse Cox. I'm trying to come back down again, Jesse. You're looking at the 50 period moving average up here as being quite important should you break through the top side of this channel. The 618 obviously $38.90, and then above $38.90 you're looking at the 50 period moving average of 42.35, and that's what you'd like to see with this, and you would do if you had all those things trip off at the right time. You need to get above the center line here. If you could do that, you've got this. You need to get that sooner rather than later though. Like by the end of the day, it's happening. Have to jump up a bit now. You'd hope at AMC go for a wee bit. Would be nice because then it'd get post market, which would be great too. And then you drop down 4 hours. We're saying your centre line's important there. You could blast through that at the end of today with another jump up 60-70 cents. That would be nice to see. Down at the 1 hour, you can see that's all still the same question. It's all the question on all the time frames. And it's not coming at the top of the move here. It's coming halfway retraced down, having already gone into the lower side of the RSI and come back again, recover its own moving average. That's good on the hourly, and it's a positive inflection. 30 minute, you've just done it. 15 minute, you'll have done it 2 or 3 goes ago. Yeah, now you're at the top of the bearish control zone, so that's why there's still a bit of hesitation. I want to see that break through. Where would you see that on? The 30 minute, if it keeps... By the end of the day, if this closes above 36.50, I know that's a couple of bucks away, and I don't expect it to. I'm saying if it does, there won't be times to buy this before it breaks out. You won't get a chance. So that's why you got to bear all those things in mind when you're thinking about how you trade things. Well, what happens if you don't get it? And then these are the low ebbs, like as we saw on the daily chart, right? In an uptrend, which just says is an extreme uptrend, you're only going to get things like this for so very long. I know during it feels like a real extended period of time, and that's by design. No, that isn't some coincidence. This goes on exactly as long as it takes for you to get an incredibly heavy guilt trip from somebody who you feel very responsible for with regards to your position. At that point, institutions go long. Just before it, they'll knock it down a wee bit extra just to get the odd extra guy who would have held anyway. And that would have been here. And it's the first touch, we said, of these bigger areas. 1, 2, 3 of them. It's a very bullish scenario. If you don't come down and test support again, having hit resistance so very fucking hard, smacked it in the face there, and then come back, that's just taking your arm back, right? That's not them hitting you, that move down there. That's when you've just smacked them and then take your arm back again. And then you smack them again, rather than you ever getting hit during this whole thing. That's just not happening. Sorry about that analogy, but that's what it is. This is what's could get worse if you tune in for the MOAS. You'll hear awful analogies. Right. Going up there, 4 hour, your 618, that's what you'd say. This is so volatile and takes such huge jumps, and it's the sort of thing that fucking catches fire in an instant, right? The measured move of this thing here just takes you straight back up to the very top of it again, right? It's the 886 retrace. It's the body close from your ultimate high. That same very candle is also where it put in its wick highs previously. If it gets above the 618, it's going straight there. There's no hanging around at the mini fibs on this tiny little one. It's the overall one that's going right to those levels. And so the steps up for this are, if it keeps doing what it's been doing, very positive. If it breaks out above this thing here, finish above 3502 today, great. Finish up at 3650, incredible. Don't expect it today, but it would be incredible. Open and close outside of this channel on a 1 hour, or especially even better a 4 hour, then you're definitely hitting 618, and that's the area to break. 38.90. You open and close a 4 hour above 38.90. Open and close 4 hour. It's going back to $51. And when it goes back to $51, fuck, people are going to go crazy. They are. They're going to go crazy for this again. How would 2A work if there weren't algos? Isn't TA based on those algorithms? No. The algorithms themselves are based on the TA. And so the TA helps both the humans and the bots. And when it comes to programming a bot to do anything, you can imagine how you would say that and speak that into a chart. How do you say to this bot, do X, Y, and Z? You'd have to use technical analysis in order to deliver those messages, right? That's the engineering of that bot in the first instance. And that would all be done by a human being. So So if there weren't algorithms, it would work the same way. It's just you wouldn't get moves that are so very easy to spot and trade, really. Like a lot of human psychology would mean the horizontal support and resistances are more important. But when you look at them and you say, well, there's this Fibonacci level that is within 0.5% of that move. It's within 2% of that move. It's just over. It's at 2.2% of that move. Then you could say, well, horizontal support and resistance is one aspect of the technical analysis. Your Fibonacci sequences are another, and it may well be that the profitable bots are those that are in targeting areas of the Fibonacci sequence on certain moves as and when it's gone beyond previous areas of horizontal support and or resistance. And like, that's not all that complicated to program into a bot. In fact, it's one of the simplest ways. And when you go and find the free ones on the internet that say how to do like A, B and C, usually that is A, B, and the C will be maybe this, like a cross on the MACD on something. Or, and then you could even program loads of my edge. You could program loads of it in. It's just, it doesn't always work when you're not applying all of the implicit and qualitative aspects to it, and things like feelings and whatnot, which are important and hard to define. Frog Lord, so I suppose that's sort of a bit of an answer. Time is 20:48. That gives me time to quickly play how to trade a reversal. It will do, because it's only 4 minutes, and then I'll do the Busy Ape series. Okay, this is a good thinking, Jamie. I've got this segment coming up, right? This segment's very, very good. This is what I'm looking for. Don't talk so loudly. Thanks. Pardon, everybody. Pardon, everybody. Whoops. It was already working there. Why did I do that? I should have just left it as it was. Well, it is what it is to me. Okay, this is me talking about how to trade a breakout. No, it's not. It's talking about how to trade a reversal. So, same thing in some ways.
Trader in the world at trading.
Trader in the world. What's that? Let's hear that again. That was said to a trader in the world. What?
You want to be as good as any trader in the world at trading reversals. Good job, Tradespotting made a video on it then. Some traders say, what goes up must come down. But what do they think this is? Winnie the Pooh, prices can do anything at any time for absolutely no reason. Reversal trading is normally pretty stupid for this reason and others. Like I've said in other videos, trends go through gears, but it can net some sexy profits. So if you're a reprobate and are going to do it anyway, then this is the most profitable method I have found to trade reversals from many years of trading with every possible strategy in every possible method. Just because you're a deplorable reversal trader doesn't mean you have no friends. You have the trend on high time frames and it really likes you. So slap the 200 simple moving average and think of it as company as you take a look through the 4-hour and daily charts. We use this to identify the trend. Talk to it, rub its back, ask it if it would like a cup of tea. Why the simple moving average and not the exponential for reversals, Jamie? That would be a great question to ask in the comments section. Normally, when we're above the 200, we take long trades, and when below it, we take shorts. With this strategy, we can be more flexible, but only to the point we would take a trade going against the trend on the 15 minutes and 30 minutes or below, while on higher time frame the price is already on the side of it that we want it to go. This stops us from taking trades that go against strong trends. It helps us enter trades in line with trends in areas of likely support or resistance, especially if you enter at a test of the 200 on the higher time frames. Welcome to multi-time frame analysis. Assuming you're not a totally delinquent trader, you'll only be interested in trading a reversal having seen a potential reversal pattern on price action. Those with a statistical reliability include Head and Shoulders, rectangle tops, rounded tops, bump and run bottoms, double bottoms, even eve bottoms. If you're a good trader, you'll combine this with further confirmations such as a reversal candlestick pattern. Those with an reliability rate include abandoned baby, 3 stars, 3 line strike, 3 white soldiers, 3 crows, and engulfing candles. If you get a whiff of something interesting, confirm it on your indicators. MACD is telling us we have a crossover and that the signal line is crossing through the center line. We also have classic bearish divergence with lower highs on our oscillator, higher highs on our price. On the RSI, classic bearish divergence, negative cross on the EMA, and they're going through center line. I also use the parabolic SAR and Donchian channels. If you followed this order, then you've completed multi-time frame, evaluative technical analysis, pattern trading tactics, trend analysis, and you double checked it all with reliable indicators capturing trend, momentum, and volatility. But wait, your entry will be at the close of the confirmation candle or the opening of the next. But what about your stop? Well, the observant among you, or those who watched this video 3 times, will have seen the suggestion of entering on a retest of the 200 SMA on the higher time frame. Ideally, your stop would just be beyond here, or a previous pivot point in a similar zone. Alternatively, you could choose the Donchian channel, the Bollinger Bands, or William Fractals. Above all, the determining factor is your money management strategy. Hey Jimmy, are you sure you're teaching me reversal trading? Isn't this actually trend pullback trading with multi-time frame analysis? What, you think I'm trying to make you a better trader? Maybe a wee like and subscribe, huh? Do yourself a favour and also add Rocky Outcrop to your Monday Milk. He does on-demand TA all the time on his channel. Links below, up above, at the end, in the comments. There is no help in rushing to be rich and plenty of wealth in waiting to be right.
Fucking muted again. I'm so crap at that. I need a button to make it happen. You know, I tell myself after it happens that I'm okay, everything's cool, but the truth is, you know.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
They just wouldn't. They'd never understand what it's like to have yourself muted and have had said an amazing comment that really helped people, and yet it'd be lost in an echo, in a silent echo of time. There, I'm back. Don't worry, folks. I'm here. I'm live and I'm here. So AMC still got this potential bottom here coming in with this entry, and if it does, whoop whoop whoop, it's fucking fantastic. You got other good entries along the way. You kept some powder dry at that point. Like, you know, it'd be just fucking such a good trade. GME, yeah, similar deal. Come in this, you know, what I often get from a channel, right, with a descending triangle, it seems, on the bottom, with inverted head and shoulders and or cup and handles. What that actually ends up looking like often is like a bump and run bottom, and that you can build that into it as well and put that time frame, look at different time frames and think about that. You can also see this is like, because of the nature of this cup and handle, it's still on, man. It's still on. Like, but there's the handle, but here's the thing. But it's like, no, not actually, because look at all of this price action beforehand with these lows, and yeah, sure, that was a high, but what about these areas with this stuff? And hey, maybe this was a descending triangle in some senses too. You know, you take it down here, you draw a line along the bottom, you draw one on the top. It broke up. This thing here, I mean, there's obviously descending triangles in it, and it broke up. Also, there's, like I say, the cup and handle, but there's also an extended head and shoulders. There's something perhaps mumming up at this low side that would have been, people say it's a pennant or whatever. So that's that. What am I talking about anyway? I'm not a cat trace, but I think you were muted when you said all the treasure hunt clues, so you could just repeat them now. That'd be great. I'm going to get that looked at over the weekend so that I can get something up next week. I've also got loads of interviews to do and things, so it's a busy weekend. Swimmer for you is barcoding after hours for any stock is common because of low liquidity volume. It certainly is. Shane was Tradespotting. Can we look at dark pool data if you still got it? We can't, Shane. I had to renew it there this morning. Was the renewal date for everything that I was looking at. So the two different services I was using, it was this morning. I would have had to pay like $800, and I can't afford it. I just can't afford to do it. Maybe I'll get them back if people want to see them, but this is why I put out those appeals for people to watch, like the busy videos, and like try to make them as useful as possible. Because I thought, hey, this will attract more people in, the audience will get bigger, everything will become like, more affordable for everybody, not just me. Anyway, hopefully slowly build things up and see where it gets to, and if I can then do it well. It's a bit stretched at the minute, and so that was it. It was the renewal date, and like I thought it would be like a big kicker for the channel would be like, oh, I'll just bet all this money, like, 'cause it's expensive, and so other people won't have it, and I get these things up and that. But I couldn't afford to do it. Couldn't afford it because the channel didn't get to, like, people don't tune in all that often. Whatever it is, they're back at work, they're fed up listening, they already know the thesis, they're not interested in coming and clicking on a like or whatever. And even though you're like 18,500 subscribers, just don't get the clicks and the views, and that just don't happen. So now what'll happen will be one of the other channels that are far bigger than me, that have got someone who's fucking shit at doing this, but has got fuckloads more people watching them and shitloads of money, like one of the two big ones, 3 or 4 big ones that make millions of pounds a year, millions of dollars a year, right? I can't afford to even get the data for another month for you guys, and I'd do a good job of interpreting it. That they'll take those ideas for themselves, as others have done, and they'll make their stuff look better, even though their own content is actually shit. And that'll be the way it goes. And they'll still have their same minions arguing with me on Twitter, trying to slow my roll, as always. And that's the way the world goes. That often is, which is what I say. In infinite ways that I can be compromised, especially by people that are supposed to be on the same team as me. So I try my hardest, that's all I can do, and then I face fucking whatever, anyway, fuck it, what is, so I can't have it. I could just say, nope, we'll look at it some other day, but nah, better hit the like button for Jamie, says Short the Vix. There you are, Short the Vix says it. And though despite being called Short the Vix, he's actually really tall, and he'll hit you if you don't. Better hit the like button, and he says it like that, he means it. I truly don't understand why it's so small. I appreciate you. Look at that. Massive donation. Donation for channel Darkpool or miscellaneous needs. I'm tuned in. I'm interested in checking likes. Clicking likes. You will get there, Jamie. Yo, thank you very much, JS. Well, it's like one of the services alone costs like... I can't remember now, so I'd just be making shit up, to be honest. But that's appreciated, and I'll put it towards it along with what I can. Holy shit, did it close and I didn't notice? It did. 159.30. Fuck's sake, Jamie, you dumbass. Didn't make any of the Busy Ape apps video yet either. Yeah, you better hit that like button. Also, Short the Vix is a nice guy. He's dead good. You go over there and Short the Vix. It's easy to find it on YouTube because that's his name. And you just type it in there and you'll find Short the Vix. And you click on his video and you subscribe to it as well. Subscribe to Short the Vix. And then he's got quality info on AMC especially, and he knows, this is what the thing is, right, with some of the people that are doing this. Some of them genuinely do know what they're talking about, and you can tell because it's not just in what they might happen to say about GME or AMC. It comes across in loads of other ways, and it's like, Short the Vix has got a name, even his name makes it obvious. He understands some things. GME or food stamps. I don't eat all that often. I'll have access to Bloomberg terminals in like a week at school if you need any data from there. Legend! Fuck yeah. Short the Vix, you're a fucking legend. There is things I would ask for that there. I'll send it over. See, fucking legend, man. Yeah. Lynette. Whoa, chat just jumped. Cost you nothing to hit the like, as SDZ would say. Yo, cost you nothing. Though, some people it does. They compromise their principles. I'll never click like! I try to watch on multiple accounts. Hope that helps. Thanks, Big Bucket. It probably does. Though I don't know if it'll push me over the line. It is appreciated, depending on how many multiple accounts you're talking about. I'm really getting off topic, haven't I? Why is that? Well, can't imagine it's all that complicated, Jimmy, because you're... Holy shit. $100. Drew Soap. $100. Hey, I've got a new idea. I'm going to yap about how I don't have enough money to buy Dartpool data all the time, and then I'm going to get rich off the donations. This is a joke. Fucking hell, Wolfric, what are you doing? This is a little lint roller for Stunk Puppet. Oh, Stunk Puppet, do you see that? You're getting a little lint roller, you lucky thing, you. You lucky little thing, you, Stunk Puppet. You little thing, you. How are you anyway, you little thing, you? Ow! Shut up, eh? Oops, pardon me. Are you allowed to do that on YouTube? It's not real. It is real. I don't know anymore. I'm confused. Shop alerts. Womp womp. Wow, there's some huge donations. Well, what about that? Fucking hell, that's crazy. That's crazy. Christine, Dartpool, $17.99. Well, it's happening, isn't it? It looks like I'm going to have to get it. Okay. Well, I'll do it then, but then I'll only be able to get one thing, and I will be chipping in all my money to do it. So we'll see how it goes then. Don't want everybody to keep donating the same people. This is the problem, eh? I want it to be spread out and democratized so that nobody feels like they're being shortchanged or that other people are that they see in that. So it's all spread out. Yeah, you're freaking legends. You are all legends, eh? You're all so freaking legends. Stuff that was good about having the Dartpool data was those particular services I was looking at. You can never guarantee you're getting all the information, because there's numerous dark pools and it's hard. But there are like the Option Reporting Authority, and that will give you good option flow data. Depending on who you're getting it from, you'll get ripped off by different amounts. And then institutional order flow, you can most commonly get that from different ones that track different dark pools where they use and they own them. So. Like, my donation for the channel, Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster. That's how he said it as well, Cookie Monster. Wow, that's really generous too. Thank you so much. Everybody's being very generous right now. That's really good. 159 spot 30. So low, below the max pain zone that it looked like it might be at the start of the week, huh? Just below where that looked like it might have been. Drew's Tech. Whoa, yo, Drew, $20. Thanks, Drew, you legend. How are you doing, man? I hope you've been well, Drew, you legend. How are you doing, Drew? How is everything over there? The max pain was, well, at the end of the week, you can see that changed. It did come in at around 160 at the end of the day. What was this at? 160. Oof, just out of it there. Start of the week looked good. Looked good for 160 at the start of the week. I understand why a lot of people are looking at that. And then you can see we actually expired on the negative side of the max pain for liquidity fight. But what does that matter? Like, people take so many different conclusions from this, and it's like just not true. It just isn't the way it works. For a start, and I explained it multiple times before, but if you're a market maker, long is short and short is long, right? Because you're offsetting the risk from the trades that come in, and you also want to make money because you put in limit orders and other people take them off you, right? You get maker fees, and it's other people that give you the liquidity to you, right? You're that want the liquidity from you, that need that. You're providing it to the market, so you're that sitting there able to, when other people execute orders, provide them so that the spread is like smaller, and ideas that it's more competitive and so on. It's better value for you at the end of the day. So that's why a market maker sits on that side of the fence, and so like when you put in a trade. Often the way that shows on like the option flow data will be the opposite side of the trade, and it might be split between like 3 or 4 different trades, and then depending on how big it is you can work out how significant it is, and you can put that together, and then you put that strike price data together with the max pain stuff, and then you look at the expiries, and then you see what side of it, and if that comes in combination. Oh, I'm not doing any of that. Fuck, I didn't have the screen on the whole time there when I was doing that. Oh well, I've done all that and I've talked about the max pain anyway. It's what I said was true, so you can listen to it back. You'll probably understand it, even if you're a visual learner. Long is short for many people in the option chain. You've got to look at it in combination with the strike price and the support and resistance. And So is 160 the support and resistance? Well, it's come in and proved to be because of that open interest, perhaps. But when you look left, you can see that actually the real area in terms of support and resistance was at least like 164, and like in all honesty is actually up at 169, 69, that sort of area. Bait buckets found some change in a fountain. Hey, that's a great place to find change, you know, if you're hungry and that. I'm sure it's a good that no one, the person who owns the fountain won't mind too much unless that's their income, eh? That must be the biggest scam in the history of the world. It's all these guys that go around building the fountains and then take the money out of it. Do they provide wishes though? Who knows? I don't know. I'm going to stop talking shit. Moas, 10th September, so don't worry guys. Sweet, phew. It's the day before my birthday, that'll be nice. Whoop whoop. Look at me. Giving away all my information. I'm an idiot. Bruce Tech, they say it is in Australia or something. What is in Australia? You got a microscope. I always wanted one. A microscope for doing the work, or a microscope for investigating, like, and what type of microscope is it? One of these optical microscopes plug into a computer and all and whatnot. I was looking at some of them a while ago now, years ago now, but they looked amazing. Is it for work? That'd be interesting. It's still 100 of something. What the F is going on, says Juro. What is going on? Can you look at Nvidia? No problem. Apparently Nancy Pelosi, she's always making the good news, isn't she? Bought 50 calls, $100 the right price for the 19th of the 6th, 2022. Yeah, she's good, right? She buys contracts that expire approximately 12 months away. 16th and 9th, pardon my language. Got that round way round because I'm not American. 16th and the 9th. She thinks she buys option contracts that will expire in a year, often 2 years. Just follow the way you don't have to buy the same things as her, eh? Because you don't know when she's actually going to divest that trade. You don't know, right? And she isn't going to tell you in advance. So it's only so much you can learn from that. And if you're a tip taker, you're a tip giver, and you'll never win, right? You have to figure shit out for yourself. So then the actual things to trade in aren't necessarily what to take from her, though definitely Corman, let's be face it, she's usually right. It's more the way she does it, and so like that, what you put in there, the part about the strikes and the information with regards to expiry, that's dead important with regards to how she trades. Valuable is dark pool data during a squeeze. How valuable is the dark pool data during a squeeze? During the MOAS, if you're looking at institutional orders and the option flow data, it's really fucking valuable, really valuable at that moment. Like when it's actually happening, yeah, I'll get it. Even if it costs me money, I'll get it. And even if I'm not making money off the trades afterwards, I'll still get it and show it during MOAS. Like, if I didn't have to pay for it, it'd be fantastic, but I definitely will, obviously. And people are really generous, you know they are. It's just it's expensive. Andy, that wasn't the topic of question really, but I get your point. Yo, that's cool. People having good conversations. I saw that too, but I'm pretty sure she did that a while ago. Oh, she's in it for a while though. Let's see. Nvidia, it's had a good move anyway. If this on chat request, it definitely should be somewhere. Nope. Still trending. Recovery above the centre line, hard to bet against it, even though it doesn't look great. Mac Kinetic on the 1 minute time frame. Mind you, you're not getting much on the daily either, eh? It's like a straight line. Especially when you do that. Okay, your 4-to-1 split. The 4-to-1 split happened, and did it reduce in value? By how much? Let's see how that much was, just for a laugh here. 20%, right? More or less. What was it? I can't see because of the lights. 15%. 4-to-1, right? So like that was obviously good value. If one share is now 4 shares, but the value of each of them is, instead of it being a quarter, it's now only, it's just 85% of what it was. That's still quite good. And then to go in and put in a high at the price where you previously got it. Okay, well there's like a warning sign for you. But that's all. That all of that is a little bit unusual. To do it at the top of a trend, and then come up again to that area would be a bit suspicious. And then do that when you've got a bit of bearish divergence, which you have between these two highs, and like fuck all momentum behind you here, and this cross is fake as shit, and this is like not going to last. Kenya, ta-da! Thank you so much. Awesome. Thanks so much, Kenya. Kenya, how do you say it? Welcome to Chimp. Nice. Brilliant. Welcome them to the family, everybody. That's the only nice thing Streamlabs says. Drew's Tech Korea just started the book too. Great so far. What book are you just reading? I want to read a book if you're reading it. I'm listening to Reminiscence of Stock Operator, and it's crazy how much Tradespotting and Rocky Outcrop reference author strategy is. Amazing story so far. Fuck yes. Yes, man. Fuck yeah. Tradespotting, can you add your PayPal so we can donate without YouTube taking their cut, says Drusel. You bet I can. And how do I just put my PayPal address in the description? Is that how I do that? I mean, I've got loads of different links in the description that can help you eventually make it their way there, but I mean, I can just put my PayPal. How do I do it? Actually, like, if I could just actually have it, that would be handy. This thing here, have it? Where is it? If I copy that link, what does this take us to? I'm going to do the Busy Ape series in a minute. And in the meantime, just check this Willow link thing works. See this link, right? It's a Willow link in the description. It's like the second one or something. It's like support the channel with 0 fees or something. It says support me. If you click that, or Patreon, crypto, or PayPal, they're like the free ways. And then you can click how much you want to put in. Obviously, you want to put that up to around $1 million or something, and then enter your name. Then you can say like whatever your actual name is. That bit's fairly straightforward, and you can also get a tip message that I like to think goes onto the screen, but I'm not sure if it actually makes it or not. Let's just pretend it does. Whether or not it does, I'm not sure. So you can click that link, and that link is the one in the. I mean, I can pin it into chat, and then it looks like I'm trying to really taking the piss at that stage. Is what it is, right? It's in the description there anyway, so it's not a big deal. Which size shirt do I wear? Medium shirts. There's the Willow link. I mean, I'm not saying go and donate now, obviously, and I'd never mean do that, but everything helps, and there's the link. The PO box is at the top, so I'm not going to replace that. There's a link there, floating past, you can see it. Maybe everyone's already seen the other one. I should pin that. I don't know, how do you do this YouTube stuff? There, replace pin of that one on now. So the PO box was up there, so if you just want to you rewind, the live chat won't have it, so you won't be able to see it. Oh, sugar. And I've not got the link to the PO box in the description. Oh no, I've done it all wrong. Well, I'll get round to it at the end of the show, putting it all back together, and you know what it's like. Ciao for now, and thanks for the streams. You're welcome, H. Thanks for tuning in and doing your jobs, moderating and all the good work you do, keeping everybody happy. Being lovely, thanks so much. Tradespotting, I'm sending a Tunnix caramel wafer to the PO box. You legend, I love them. I'm so hungry. I haven't heard that now. Just haven't heard that. Makes me very, very hungry. I really wish I had one. Right, so there, I've taken the piss enough with that chat about donations. Anyone who wants to help now knows all the different ways. Thank you so much. And if that is helping me with a caramel wafer, then I'll love you. I'll love you. Or cream eggs or anything. I don't know if you're allowed to send food. Just as I don't know if you're allowed to send the thing that Daniel suggested earlier. I suspect that maybe not, but like they're not going to check everything. They can't possibly do that. They don't have the manpower. And I won't get in trouble because I'm just sat here, so you can do whatever the hell you like with it. That done. I read that as a poo box. It might well end up being that. Fuck. Right. In video, we're going to do the T8. Yo. Chris Sweeney, set up a fun in Discord and Reddit to donate to get access to the dark pool. That'd be good, but then I'm out there asking for money and doing it that way, which is like then crossing a line that I've never crossed yet. I'm just relying on the generosity of strangers. Set up a fund in Discord and Reddit. Well, I can. This is the fund. It's right here. I'm the fund, and if I can get it, even if I get close to the amount of money, Or if people would start just freaking tuning in. You know, it's like I see the right now. This isn't like totally understandable, right? But I make these busy app videos, right? This is what it is, right? I'll have to explain it properly. I'll just have to explain it now. Right, this is it. I'll explain it, and I'll turn the volume down so that doesn't happen anymore. And everybody who's watched the video, I'm going to do the TA on GME and AMC. I'm going to do it really fucking good. And probably conclude loads of things that I didn't mention during the live stream. Yet, if you're only watching this Busy Ape series, you won't get the most out of it because it comes on the back of lots of knowledge that I've put across in the live stream. Tradespotting, are you asking for a birthday cake? Lol. You're not asking for money, we're contributing to a reason. You're just the middleman. I am a very good businessman, is a good middleman, apparently. Everybody leaves happy. I don't know if about that. I think those fairy tales aren't true. But what do I know, hey? What do I know? Right, so we're going to, how are we all feeling? That was really, really loud. I didn't have the alert stuff up loud, but that was so loud. Tried the Willow link. If it pops up for you, then it works. What? Wait. If it pops up for you, then it works. Does it pop up for me? Oh, if it pops up on the screen. Oh, you tried that thing. Oh, blew me neck. Gotta remember, that happened. Phonetic Duck, don't forget to fix the stream title. Sugar, what did I call it? I probably called it yesterday's stream title, right? Yeah, definitely will have done. Shit. Yeah, shit. What's that say? Oh, that was that one. Right, when I'm here, I'll try and fix this if I can. Now that I'm here. Alert box settings. Hello? It doesn't let me do it during it. Oh, have I not closed? Oh, better not have just closed Streamlabs. You better not have closed Streamlabs. See me. Hello? Oh, what? Am I back? Streamlabs is having a bit of a nightmare. Projector box. What is that? I want a projector box. I don't know what's going on. Don't encourage him, Tanya. What are we encouraging me for? Jamie's head has fallen off. Has it fallen off? It nearly did fall off recently. What is it? Is that the screen that's going on? Worked, but no pop-up on screen. My alert box doesn't want to speak to me when I click the button. I really need to fix that. I'm still here. Okay, well, I'm still here. That's good news. First ever YouTube membership. Whoa, yes, it's an honor. Thank you so much, Segan43. Welcome, Segan. Welcome from me. Welcome from everybody in the chat there. Thanks for everybody who's joined up as a member now, today, or in the past, or ever. It's amazing. Really, really, it's amazing. You're still good from broadcast point of view. Okay, great, because Streamlabs looks like it's frozen. It's giving me a projector box, but none of the other stuff, so I can't see the dials. I didn't know what was up there. So I'm still here. Great. So I'll fix that stuff, right? Thanks so much, Tubes, mate. You're a really good guy. Thanks. Everybody who's done donations through there, thanks so much. And everybody who's signed up and become a member, thanks so much. Or Patreon or any of those other things. And now I have actually spent what feels like the whole stream talking about money. Thanks. Bye all of us. Right, so that takes me on to the Busy Ape series, which next week will be posted for members, and then on the Patreon, uploaded there for people who don't even want to use YouTube, and like subscribing via Patreon. I don't know what the equivalent fees are. I can't remember what the levels are of that. But whatever it is, like I there's less fees involved via Patreon, that's for sure. So if that was all you were ever wanting was, I want the Busy Ape videos, then that's where they'll be. Obviously, they'll also be in these videos, like you can know, because you know, right? They are in that's where I make them, and this stream has gone for 1 hour 58 minutes. Great, 55 seconds. So that'll give me know how to make the chapter. It'll be 2 hours into this video. We'll be 2 hours into this video will be where the chapter starts that says this is the Busy Folks TA series, right, which is about to start now. Yes, it's about to start now. I'll not play more music at you because that would just make people leave. No, I'm not about to start. I'm going to do NVIDIA. Fuck. Sorry, Corman. My bad. I should have been paying more attention there. That was my bad. Sorry, Corman. Daily time frame $208.16. It's come in after a stock split and retested that previous highs. It's got its dividends 31st of August, end of the month. Not bad. Expected to be 0.04. Payment date will be on the 23rd of September. Previous earnings 0.16. Right, so you're expecting earnings to be down a significant chunk. At the same time, you've had a stock split, so 4 shares became 1. So in essence, the value of this thing was 25% that it was the day before. But that's not what the value of things is determined by. It happens, and value is very different from price. And price is driven by speculation. And speculation was that was going to be done because this makes the thing cheaper, therefore it makes it more accessible to other people, to take advantage of all these extra shares being put on, and you might have already held it and you don't want to be diluted, so you then subscribe to the new issue, at which point there hardly becomes anything available and prices keep going up again. So even though you might perceive it to be bearish, it can end up being bullish. The thing you want to look out for, though, is what happens when it reaches the same price it was at these highs before that announcement was, well, probably when the announcement, but before the event. And you can see you're at it now, and although your volume has been significant on this rise, it hasn't been outstripping anything that's happened previously. You've got low strength of trend as represented by the ADX way down here at the bottom, and while you have got a crossover on your DI plus above your DI minus, it's not previously made it above previous highs. And as when you combine that with a shit ADX, it means it's shit. Looking down here, you can see your momentum has been consistently getting worse on the upside, while on the downside you have convergence. That's true. On the top side you've got divergence, right? That's bad. It's because it's negative sense. And then your cross, you've got a sell signal, get the fuck out of town sell signal up here on your MACD, which I just put on the wrong panel. And Fishhead 1999, bing bong, happy Friday, thanks for the stream, have a pint. You're freaking welcome, my friend. That's brilliant. Wow, Friday I could have a pint, eh? That'd be nice. What time is it? Could have a pint. 21:24 over here. How come you said that right when I said that? That seems a bit of a coincidence. You said it as I was saying it. Lol, Tradespotting, don't apologise, you're a legend. Thanks, Common. You're a fucking legend, mate. Wow, I love these communities. Like, honestly, Like, I fucking love you guys, Honestly. Does TA for Busy Apes 2 hours later still talking about the migration of geese through the winter? $208.16, right? Get my fucking head in the game. Yeah, you've had to. Stephen Kimbler, you were back again, my friend. I tried twice to send through PayPal, but don't think it worked. It doesn't show up in my bank account, so here's for the dark pool just in case. Wow, fucking hell, that's really generous. If it did work now, I'm going to feel terrible. Stephen, you're a legend, mate. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for everybody who's donating. Cheers, guys. Wow, fucking awesome. And on a Friday too, and with a pint as well. Yeah! This is a very good candlestick. Both of them together are nearly bullishly engulfing. The low here was, in the context of an uptrend, that was bullishly divergent because that's class B, right? That they're equal lows. But you have had a less and less momentum as times have gone on, and now you're again on the top side divergent. And on this time frame, daily, you're coming and you're touching the overbought. If it goes through here, then you are going to then start putting in a divergent high. It could burn it off if this ADX turns up again and your momentum keeps going. You haven't got then the buy signal at any stage during this, and you did get the sell signal, so I don't trust it though. I think that it looks good, but my entry would be like, this would be take profit, and I can imagine shitloads of people will do. I can also imagine tomorrow opening up and then breaking harsh. This is the range you're looking to. It's a real bullish move, and there not being a wick on this makes it slightly harder to do the TA. That's lower, so it's not bearishly divergent, but you can see the huge discrepancy in distance. This one is higher, but it's lower, and is joint or higher, and but is lower. So daily looks divergent. This doesn't cover enough to give you much on the weekly, other than to say same body closes. Perhaps you're in for a retest of one of these higher areas, or even actually these lower ones here. Let's do a fib on this and check. You got back into the overbought zone. That's good to accumulate there and go for it, only it also shows it to be bearishly divergent. You would be able to judge that when this comes back and does a 236. It has already dropped on the weekly and come back and put in a huge wick there, but that's a bearish wick and it's also a hammer. So we'll see how it goes. Does it go bump or does it go down again then? 2 day. What day is today? Friday. Let's go back here. 4 days left on the 3 day chart. Right, fuck that, 2 day. So your 2 day close today, that means, and it also is divergent. It's a massive bullish engulfing body and wick on that. I like to see that. That's fucking ace. That is fucking ace. It's just like really divergent at the top. That cross not being invalidated, and that Rick and Morty ellipse coming out successful in the first touch, but then not really. It's already had 1, 2, 3, and that's not a positive bounce. And again, it's perhaps a touch of divergence being spoken to there, and you can see again that there's no real distinction on the momentum on that time frame. Let's go down daily. Have we looked at this one yet? Yeah, that's that. That was what we looked at. Let's go down 4 hour. So again, divergence, the same picture. It's the same picture here too. And well, it looks like there's more strength on the DMI here. You can actually see the ADX is nothing. Would you recommend setting sliding stop losses during what? If so, would be 30% be reasonable? It's so hard to judge a percentage slide on that, and like 30% perhaps not, though it would be reasonable under most conditions, yeah. Sliding stops are shit, they're fucking shit. They're better than nothing, but they're shit. What you really want is like to do it yourself using William Fractal and or Donchian channels, and then figure out the time frame where the biggest moves are happening. Like 4 hours, it's unlikely to see, like, because the volatility will be so fucking crazy, and the nature of price action and the nature of the market orders at the time are going to mean that your trends are going to be hard to spot over time frames bigger than 4 hours. It's going to be hard to spot them quickly because there'll be so much volatility already. And so I'm not sure about 30%. I actually was having a conversation not unlike that recently. Somebody who said something like 28 to 32% or whatever. And I understand where it's better than nothing, But and then if you add it up, how you'd use that and where you would then use it beyond to take profit. So like the conversation I had evolved into, if this particular person wasn't going to change how they were going to trade, so they were going to do that anyway. And so the areas to start putting those in at would work alongside where you ideally would have some take profit zones, and then you can just, when price gets there, and goes beyond, then you can put some in, and then you can split them up across where you might take profit. And that's a different way of trading than having a limit order on the top side. And if you do it with like limit stops, maybe that's what you're talking about, like when you go by a limit stop might like input a limit order when you drop a certain amount, but the nature of limit orders are such that if you're putting in a sell limit order, then it has to obviously be above the current lowest price of the asset. Otherwise, you can't put in a limit order below the current price to sell, because well, for a start, it's illegal. You're not allowed to sell it cheaper than nibble pricing. But so this is the nature of price action. And order types, you can't put in limit orders anything other for sales, anything other than above the current price. And so when you're falling and you've triggered a stop limit, that stop limit is above where the prices are, and prices will be moving away from it. And you have to hope that they then come back in order to trigger that stop limit, which itself will be a take profit order at that point. That's how it'll go through on the book, whether or not this is exactly the function of it, despite it's a different kind of order type. It's a stop. So this is the unreliable nature of these limit orders, depending on the exchange or broker you're using, they might not even be very fucking good at them. But yeah, so that was how that conversation evolved. Like, to have your areas still that you're looking to if you're going to do that, and it would be your take profit areas, and then you use your either like a percentage move that you're comfortable with for putting in. Like, I hope to make this in a video at one point and before the squeeze and talking about how to manage the MOAS and things, and rather than it be like the big one that Stefan wants us to make, which will be useful too. But part of it will be this little aspect of how do you use stop limits during MOAS? How do you do that? Because it's when prices go down, it puts in an order above where prices currently are. How do you judge where it's going to go to? And like when you say 30%, is that 30% over and above where the price has been at the minute? So say it gets to $100,000, then your stop loss at 30%, that would be 130,000, right? Right, obviously. So that 30%, it's that extension beyond the previous high. So you to have some understanding of its nature of its extension beyond previous highs. Those themselves work logarithmically, that increase. So you want to have some understanding of both the linear progression of the trend, the logarithmic return upon cycle tops, and then string through that various indicators to give you understanding of the strength of trend, and then you can see and measure likely moves that are above and beyond buying power, and you can see like wicks, and you can combine the wicks and body closes, and you can put all that together across various timelines using all on top of all the indicators, and then you can get a picture of what might be the next cycle area. And I hate cycle stuff, and I hate fractals, and I think most of that's generally stupid, which is why I manage my trades manually and will be doing so during MOAS. And that manually means me doing it at the time rather than setting them in advance for but though I do have my plan. And so that's how I do. Imagine getting censored for writing in all caps. Yeah, it doesn't happen to me. Who did that happen to? Unlucky somebody. This doesn't happen to me. Ha ha. Only joking, it's KT. You really did get slammed there, it seems. Bearish on the Streamlabs, same here. I'm very, very bullish bearish on the Streamlabs. I'm so sick of it not showing various alerts. I think it's restricted me far too much. So over the weekend, I'm also going to look at Streamlabs. And there's a chap on Reddit and also on here and other places called YOLO_short squeeze, who's legend, and he made the Bing Bong jingle among actually quality music that he makes in real life, which he's awesome. YOLO_short squeeze on Reddit, nice guy. He made loads of help for me, the audio, and then I try to plug it all in Streamlabs, and then Streamlabs crashes or doesn't like war. It's really temperamental. It's like, this is just not good enough, you know. Other people are putting in effort, and then I'm letting the side down. Right, so I have to do the Busy Ape TA. Keep avoiding it. Like, so let's start the clip now, and it's more than 2 hours in now, isn't it? Because I took a big break to do that. What time is it? It'll be 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. Okay, I have to explain the situation with the Busy Ape videos. Hello, and welcome to the Busy Ape videos. I'm Jimmy. This is Tradespotting. Hello, that's Stock Puppet. And together, we cover all likely moves on price action. You probably tuned in before, and you might be thinking, oh no, this is the last one of these videos, but you couldn't be further from the truth. These videos will never end. They'll go on for thousands of fucking years if I could live that long. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to abandon people. I'm not going to stop doing what I've been doing all this time. Every time something happens, I increase the level of effort that I'm putting in. And I just always want it to make sense for the channel. Now, these Busy Ape videos, they split the number of subscribers who are interested in watching either the live show or the Busy Ape show, and what busy people. And so what happens is that neither of them perform so very well, and they each end up hurting each other, and then my efforts don't go as far as they should, which means the message doesn't reach as many people as it should. So if you're thinking, hey Jamie, don't do that, because the message won't get out, and I'll donate 100 for access to the dark pool. You can DM me on Twitter. Chris, you're a legend, mate. You know, if you're all donating enough, you will get your own dark pool date, and then you'll never have any need for me. Now, I hope to actually get you to that stage. It's counterintuitively, and it's perhaps was a little bit weird why I'd be doing YouTube and making it, is that not an existential problem? Well, I don't actually see it to be so. Chris Grace, don't stress him out over the short videos. Yeah, so this is it, right? The short videos, which this is the start of one, and I know I'm now waffling, rambling, and doing the antithesis for what the video is all about, but this is the way it is, right? I can't continue doing the videos as I have been doing because people who interact with them don't watch them very much. In fact, the Busy Ape videos, which are exclusively about helping people who work hard, don't have time, got loads of responsibilities, perhaps aren't as advantaged as everybody else in having free time and the ability to do it, and I respect them. So I was making those videos, and they were like on top of what I was doing anyway for people who I didn't want to make it so they had to watch hours and hours of me to get these core bits of information, because I really want GME to fucking do well. That's how so much of why I'm here and that. And so it's about pushing the narrative, putting the message out there, letting everybody know, and getting as wide an audience as possible. This is why I did them. But it's counterproductive because every video performs worse than the last, and the statistics is what rule the world. It's everybody's controlled by algorithms. And so I want this thing to work well. I have to work with the powers that be and with the flow, rather than get crushed by it and wailing in vain. So that's the nature of these videos. But as you may know, I make all of them as part of the live show, and you have always been able to, and will always continue to be able to, click on the video I make, the live show, look at the chapters underneath, and you'll see at least one that directs you to this part of the video, so you'll have it. And the only interruption to your convenience is those 2, maybe even 1 extra click. And it's not really even an interruption. That's extremely good of me, because it'll still damage the live show that you only watch that tiny bit, will reduce the watch time and still have a negative effect on me, and you will still be shortchanging me. Nearly everybody will be, but I'm still going to keep doing it because I want to help. But I can't do it in the format I was before, because that was hurting me, and it was hurting the message, and that's very fucking important that I don't do that. And I'm not going to be a fucking fanny, and I can see that as being a fanny, and I've seen other people do it, and I'm not doing it. So this is the way it is, and I know that this message is now gone on for 3 minutes, and I know it's the antithesis of what you want to hear when you tune in, and I know that I'm not sending a good message, but also it is a good message because this is always available. Fuck it, I fucked it up, I've not done it right. Everybody's going to be pissed off with me. I'm going to have to start again. This is the clip. Hi, I make Busy Ape videos, or Busy People videos, that talk about AMC and GME, but lately not many people have been watching them. That has a counterproductive effect on the channel. It makes the stats get worse, it makes the message not get out as far, and then it makes my own task self-defeating. So I need to do it in a smart way that helps you as well as me. So henceforth, these videos will be available in a hyper-convenient way, delivered direct to you from Patreon if you are in any way supporting me there. And I don't think the fees are all that exorbitant for the things that I put out, but if you want to have an argument with it, fair enough. If you can't find me there, I will also be uploading them for members only on the YouTube channel. Why do I do that? Well, because both of those areas won't mean that the algorithm punishes me for doing work on your behalf. Does it affect you? Yes, it's not quite as hyper-convenient, but you'll still be able to get them those places. If you don't want to go behind a paywall, don't worry, you don't have to. I do this specifically to help the people who are least advantaged. And you can find it with 1 extra click on the live video. Scroll down, look at the chapters, and you'll see, either in the comments or linked in the video so you can skip right to it, you'll see the Busy Ape series, and you'll always be there. I'll keep doing it. Don't worry, I'm not leaving you. You are welcome. I do appreciate you. I don't demand contributions. It's all just thanks and all desperately appreciated, but it's only that, it's not the other. So thanks very much. Right, now here's the Busy Ape videos. I know that I didn't start on it, but I'm on it now. GME, and we're going to start on the 15-minute time frame. We'll talk about the close and everything else that happened. 159 spot 30. As you can see, all day we went through this, continuing this uptrend that's been happening since $150. It may be in itself an inverted head and shoulders, as pointed out in the chat by a nice chap flick, I just about had it. Anyway, there you've got your right and left and head, and that's your inverted head and shoulders, a reversal pattern. It comes at the bottom of a downtrend, and then the prices have got an inverted move off the top of it. Sorry, a measured move off the top of the inverted head and shoulders takes you in and around this white line up horizontal, this white vertical line here, which comes up to around 160, 161 and change. Before you get there, you've got your 200 period moving average on the 15-minute time frame. You've this downward sloping diagonal resistance, and so it's likely, and as it was, price action stopped there. But what happened afterwards, we only came down to this very strong incline uptrend with demand line underneath prices, which pressed us back up again to test resistance again straight afterwards again, which means that it gets more significant, which means when it breaks it, that's more significance than it was first time, and it's weaker because it's hit it again. So fucking brilliant, right? To do it twice, brilliant. As it did here, it resulted in a break. Will it do it again and break? It's very possible. But then we have to bear in mind, this is resistance. Support being so close, it isn't the significant support. The significant support is lower down. And as you can see, we've put in this formation with an inverted head and shoulders within this downward sloping channel without having breaking out of it, and it's quite consistent, and it's been reliable to predictive price action for a long time. In fact, since it touched the bottom of it at the start of June, the first couple of weeks of June, it's been doing this, and that has been defining price action within the bottom side of it, as well as that inverted head and shoulders that took us to the top side of it. You're potentially putting another one with the right shoulder yet to happen. That might come when you trace this supply line down, yet don't go down and touch the support underneath. Then you'll get a breakout that'll take you either to the 618 or the top of this horizontal resistance on the left. Looking left, you can see that's in at around $169 above at the 618. That comes in at $177 at the top side of the golden pocket, and it's like 174 maybe for the bottom side of it. So they're the areas, and mostly that's two. One's a zone, the other's quite firm at 169 change. Sammy, do you have an exit strategy for smooth brain white teeth collecting fannies like me? My exit strategy is to own the biggest company in the world, maybe sell one or two shares on the way up, and I'll talk to everybody about it at the time. But this is a busy 8 video, so I'll get to that, quickly answer that in a second. And if you want that, you're not going to be able to get that by exclusively tuning into Busy 8 videos. You're going to have to tune into more than that, because I can't deliver the message and the fullness of it in any way that was adequate without actually going over these bite-sized bits of information. So is that my alert still too loud? It is. Anyway, yeah, so you're looking to break the top side of this channel, have not touched the bottom of it, and constantly touching the top of it would make it seem like you're going to go up bullish. Your inverted head and shoulders does suggest that too. There may be more than one at play, and on top of that, it may not be that. It might even be some sort of wedge, and if it is a bullish pattern with a wedge, like either at this end of price action, as we drew this smaller channel within it, that could easily have been drawn as a wedge with a breakout, a retest, and a move, and not even needing to retest it afterwards, holding important Fibonacci's and then going through this resistance for a while. That's very important. Accumulating at resistance is very strong, because people like us, people are sensible traders, we don't even buy at resistance, we'd be buying at support. But here we are at resistance, and shitloads of people are buying it. Shitloads of people are buying GME at resistance. Shitloads of people. How do I know that? Because this fucking information down here is fucking bollocks. It's an absolute fucking bargain. If you just need to look around at the news, and you can see that every hedge fund in the world is accumulating as much of GME and AMC as they get their fucking hands on. And if you want to know how they do it, well, they do it in a method that uses liquidity grabs. And I talked about that earlier when I was looking at other assets. You might want to tune into the live stream and see some of that shit, because it's well worth it. And so that's what you're looking at on GME in a 15-minute time frame. You go up and see some more information early. You can see there's that inverted head and shoulders. You're possibly in here. 1, 2, and the third one. This is this previous one. 1, 2, and then 3 in around here, and then you can see that you just cut this right shoulder encompasses another, and it's within this formation. There's not all that much changing in terms of patterns, but you can see looking left that you're not all really asking that much to get to these levels we talked about beforehand. 169, 177, 179. They're nothing really when you look left, and you see horizontals, say that wouldn't even be all that crazy. But you can see when it did break out, having tested it once, 2, 3 times, and we've broken down below it and tested it once, twice, who knows, maybe this would be a third time if you look at it slightly differently. You see then subsequent retests after this area very important for it, really, really important. Like the nature of price action since it came back with this huge return from the drop, and then drop, huge return on the back of that, even if it is a continued downtrend. And then here, down here, this retracement, nothing, only catching the 200 period. I haven't put in that touch of divergence at the top of it and everything. Still doesn't really retrace, catched by 200 above your ultimate support and blast off again. That's something that might happen here. And then being a very extended pattern, you could say, well, it's likely to go up, perhaps, it's coiled the spring for a while there. I don't know why all those series of wrong button presses happened. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, if it does take off, it does break those areas, and then put in higher highs on this formation, maybe the mid-level of this channel area, if I can get up above there, which would be about $200 again, then you'd be looking straight up to the 1414, and it comes in at 220 something. 1618 comes in at 230s. And again, you're back up at 300s, 320s, 340s, and that would be your areas. There wouldn't be much in between. You look along this and you're on that time frame now. You could go up to the 4 hour and look at it some more and draw the same thing. You're coming across your bodies and your wick highs here. You've got wicks and bodies taking you from the bottom here. Is it a really long ascending triangle? Does it slowly come up here? Is it instead slightly tighter than that? And you can see, well, you've got lows here, and then you've got this high that can easily be taken to these body highs, and then you can say, well, we're actually much more into it than you were otherwise. Then you can see you've actually recovered it too from a drop down on that side of things. That's a very bullish move and could consider a bear trap. And I've been thinking for ages the moves down here are a bear trap, because it's quite obvious that where this is going long term. And when I say long term, I mean it. I mean this. I don't joke around when I think it can be the biggest company in the world, and it can definitely try for it. No, you can definitely try for it. Like, why do you think the guy bought it in the first place? He could have bought a lot of different things. So that's that. Now, that's your GME AMTA. And now I'm going to quickly split these videos up. So there's 2 clips for Busy Ape. So that's the GME one. So, yo, GME, nice to see you guys. And now I'm going to go on and film a separate clip that's for the AMC folks. So there, I did that. I was just for GME, Busy Apes. Thanks for the tips on that, Shane. Hello, and welcome to AMC. This is the AMC for the busy folks that just have time for watching AMC and nothing else. And I know that you may really appreciate these videos I'm putting out, and that's fantastic, because I appreciate you so much as well. Unfortunately, there aren't enough of us together so that these videos can perform well alongside the live show, and as such, they both cannibalize each other. As you would maybe notice if you follow me on Twitter, the one I put out yesterday was again worse than the one I put out the day before. That one itself was the worst of the previous 10 videos, and I know technical analysis and I know a trend, and I want to arrest that one as soon as I can. So these videos from now on will be put as part of the live stream, a chapter you can find. If you click on the live video from that day, you'll find this chapter, and you'll always get your same concise, well delivered, trenchant, piercing, fucking awesome technical analysis on AMC. You'll always find it there in the live show. Alternatively, you can support me in these efforts in very reasonable amounts of money on Tradespotting on YouTube or on Patreon, right? The links are all in my description. I'm not going to go on about it, right? You'll be able to find them if this is what you're inclined to do. And they'll all help me deliver these messages and add to the quality of them. But I can't do it and put it out on the channel as I used to, because it doesn't perform well. It negatively affects the algorithm's opinion of me and therefore the message. So I can't have that happen, and so I'm making this decision. I know I'm getting slack for making it, but God, it's me doing the work, and I'm trying it for all the right reasons. Anyway, here we are. AMC closed at 34.41. Not putting much stock on the post market today on Friday. You can see that it's had a really good move. You're looking at it on these higher time frames because that's where we finished our previous chart. But we're going to zoom in 15 minutes and say they had a positive move out of what might be a bullish wedge here dropping down. That itself is a higher low. It's come in and tested to 236 of this Fibonacci from the top of this move previously. In at, where is this fib? Here? Yeah, at this type is at 46.87, so that was their price action changed and broke below this top area here, back below these areas of support that we previously looked at. And so you'd had one high since, and then measure the Fibonacci from there, because the price action is distinctly different, even though it's within this overall trend. And you can see you came up and touched the 618 and dropped back down, touched the 236, super common. From there you've bounced up, you're hitting 200 period moving average. That's also perfectly normal. At the same time, you've managed to make it above the center line and have gone straight for the overbought zone on the 50 minutes. That's a good way to end the day. Up above there, the next level of horizontals are in the low 35s. If you start opening and closing above there, you've done exactly the same as what you've done on in stock here, where you've come down, having tested the upper resistance, retraced but not to significant degrees, only to totally expected amounts, reaccumulated above even the center line of the greater channel it's in, and let's look at that in a moment, and then go on again to touch the top side resistance. And as I was explaining on the live show, this bit here is when you punch them in the face, this bit here is when you take your arm back, and this next bit is where you punch them again. And no point in this did you ever get touched, right? You're like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. There ain't nobody touching you here, right? And then you accumulate above these important moving averages. I know it's only a 50-minute time frame, but if you go on to the 30-minute, you can see it's the same story. You've had a positive cross on your MACD. You're getting up and opening above the 200 period moving average on the 30-minute. Well, you get that obvious buy signal. You've got a positive cross on your trend on your rocket with DMI, and you've managed to make it above the center line on this 30 minutes on your RSI while capturing the its own moving average. That's fantastic, right? It's done fantastically well, and it may well be that you now think, here's where I'm chucking all my money in. Me personally bought it here, and that's where I'm keeping my ammo for the rest of it for down here. But I love to see it doing well, and if it can also bounce up and make it above this downward sloping formation, which now that we've gone on to the hourly time frame, you can see, well, along with this potential W bottom that's coming out here, you've also got a real strong sense of trend here on your RSI. You want to see more on the DMI, and you also want this cross, which looks like it's about to happen on the MACD, to come through as this momentum dies off. That's a little bit too strong, the momentum on that for my liking, but it's also got other positive signals. You want this MACD and signal line both to move up together, and preferably cross as and when they cross through the center line on this hourly time frame. You want that to happen on the MACD as this is hitting its diagonally sloped supply line, this red top side of this. If it doesn't happen, you can come in from the bottom side of this, and that's a bargain buy. Don't worry about it. If you do break out the top of this, get to the 618, come back and retrace it. That 618 is a 38.90. Come back and retrace the breakout of this channel slash wedge slash W bottom slash who knows what it'll look like potentially. I think it's a bull flag, and I think it comes to the end of this measured move of this pole here, and I've drawn this a number of times in the Busy 8 videos, but people probably enjoy seeing this part of it. That's what the move is, right? It's even more than that. That's being conservative, because I'm not even taking it from the bottom. And if it breaks out of things here, it doesn't just take you past your previous all-time high, it takes you right up to $100. And if you look at these Fibonacci levels, you can see you got the 1414, the 2414 and 2618 from this bit of this move. They come all up around there in confluent levels. Before there, you've got other areas where you've been who prices have been before, and you don't need me to tell you where they are. They're horizontals. They're a previous support. Now there'll be resistance, and right at the very top, that resistance will be significant when you reach your previous peak, but we'll see how that works. That's the 1 hour. On the 4 hour, what's it telling us about long-term trend? Well, you're significantly above all the important moving averages. Your RSI's managed to drip below the center line and then not yet get above it, so we need to see that. But you have got what is nearly the perfect signal on your MACD. If this doesn't cross down again, which it may well do, if this goes through and if the cross has a touch and then both of them pass through the center line at the same time on the hourly and the 4 hour time frame, as you break through resistance, you're fucking flying. That's what you want to see. You watch what happens when that happens. Just watch. And then you've got your cross on the larger time frames above the 200 period moving average. People who trade longer term frames, and are often called wise, they've already had their buy signal and they're all still holding their shares. They're not divesting them at that lower high. That would be silly. They entered it here because of positive divergence, and they were hoping for more on the move, and that's the way it goes. You're looking for this to give you good entries that you can take advantage of huge moves, not silly little pissy things and try to day trade it. There's plenty of other things you can day trade, you fanny. So thanks very much for tuning in to AMCTA. Just quickly look at it on the lower time frames and then say, what do we expect to happen on this next week? A 34 expiry, and that's not bad. You know, the amount of shit that people have been put through on this, that's kind of quite good. I wonder what it looks like on open interest now. Open and close above these moving averages. Test this, do well. Next week could be good. Depending on how things go at the start, next week could be really good for AMC. We'll see. It's done well this week, better than I might have expected. Thanks very much for tuning in and watching this video. I know so many of you do, and appreciate it and comment and like and watch it all and share it with people. And only for you people, I'd be nowhere. Thanks so much. Cool. That's the clips made. Jonas Hurst. Any chance we might check out Amat for me, brother? I appreciate your skills there. No problem, Amat. You're welcome, mate. Amat. Have I got it on here already? Nope. Applied materials. Down 2% today. A lot of volume, not starting or stopping volume though. 15-minute time frame. Thanks very much for the donation, Puddy. Go up a time frame just to get a picture of what's going on. This is a bullish accumulating pattern. It's a wedge, down sloping wedge. It's at the end of this move, which itself will probably be confluent with something. When I look left, I'll check that on different time frames as I go through it. That's interesting. RSI at the time says it's bullishly divergent at the higher lows the whole way through, as this has put in lower lows. It's also put in higher highs, as this has failed to put in higher highs. So you might say that it's bearishly divergent, but actually the wicks have come up and done a good enough job, and it is a bullish pattern if it does break out and play as it looks to. And this line could even be extended back up here. You've got a gap that hasn't been filled yet. At some stage this will be filled. It's on the 4 hour. It comes in at 132.29, currently 127.20. That itself isn't maybe enough of a tradable move. The horizontal support and resistance looking left is just below that, so if you are trading that too there, you might be missing out on any sort of move. The top of that gap's already come up and touched it once, twice at least. Body closes being down there. Well, we'll see. Let's look left on this time frame. Your horizontal's quite obvious where this range is. You've dipped below it slightly a little bit here, so you'd like to see recovery above that. That would also come at about 75% of this pattern being broken. You'd like to see it go up above it. If it doesn't, the lower levels are not really the wick low, but the body closes over here. Also, if you're free, can you do a quick check on ADA? You're certainly right, I can. Smart contracts are being released on the 12th of September. That's the day after my birthday. Smart contracts are good because they allow for other people to build applications on top of your blockchain. The problem with smart contracts is that in order to execute a smart contract, you will need to print to the blockchain, and therefore you're taking up network capacity. You're causing there to be an overhead on the network, and therefore to do it that way, should you be running your application, isn't necessarily the most efficient manner of doing it. And so you'll have to be creating a lot of value. So the new ecosystem that's available for ADA because of this new implementation isn't quite as good as, say, the new technology that's come around from other blockchains such as Polkadot, where you've got a substrate which you can build your application on top of, and it won't necessarily incur overheads when it performs every action. ADA, because it's done so slowly but yet so properly, so diligently, and by such intelligent people who really put the effort in to make sure that they've got all their bases covered, unfortunately there's a problem that creates an R&D lag. And other more flexible, agile companies, and this is an industry where those companies will win, they have been able to exploit the chances of opportunities in the market by coming up with different technologies or trying out different things which they've managed to make work for themselves, and they don't incur the same overhead. So from an actual how important will this be to the overall ecosystem, not as important as people who strongly believe in ADA would like you to believe, but with regard to being a trading event, highly likely that it's something that you can trade profitably, and has been. The news about it for a while has been. But when it comes to looking at how that all plays out in the crypto industry, it will only lead to people asking the question that I've just answered, and that answer providing them with other opportunities for different things to trade, things that have got more velocity, higher range, make more money, and ultimately will be the future. If that's ADA, Charles Hoskins needs a rocket up his arse because he's taking ages to do things. Not that I don't respect him, he's a fucking genius. So I'll look at ADA in a second. Here's your touch of lowers report here. That was interesting for the body close on this timeline. Previously this low and these areas were important for it. This will be important when it comes back up again to the top of this wedge, and maybe it continues on a little bit. If we extend this out and say maybe it's got a little bit more in there before it matures, cut this off the top, doesn't mean anything, it's mostly a body anyway. I'd say maybe it does come back down again. At that point, test this low here, this wick low. This area of the breakdown, these highs, nah, that's just a stop punt. It would be down here if it did drop anymore. You'd be looking for it to be higher than, like at that point I'd be really pissed off with this thing. If it dropped below 117, I'd be pissed off with it. At this stage it could just continue this, and it could be that wedges, as they so often do, evolve into channels, and so what looks like a wedge breakout where it puts in a higher high, say it comes in here and puts in a higher than this might end up only being something like here, you know. And then this is then obviously a channel, like the equidistant demand and supply lines. It's got no particular measured move, nor does it have any favour of which side it would break out on. And then you'd be looking at other aspects of it again. You can see there's decreasing momentum there, only the negative momentum since, though that itself has been weakening. You have got a potential cross coming through, though you're well below the 200 period moving average. That makes me think that if this did break up on its first attempts to do it, it would stop at the 200 period moving average. That comes in on that 4 hour. Oh, sorry, yeah, that comes on. It would take you to the 4 hours where you're seeing the signal that might come in there. And at around $134, between 132 and 134. That's not very far away. It is a move. But and above there you wouldn't be proving anything, so this is a no trade zone for very many reasons. There's no risk reward to be able to manage properly unless you're in here and it's very tight, you know, and that's then down again at 124. You'd be waiting for a lower test on this and hoping it didn't break out yet, and then you'd be hoping that that was true, and it was more in around the 26th that happened sometime next week. And then, as I'm saying, these levels are difficult to break. If you do break them above the 200 period and 4 hour time frame, then you'd be back having recaptured that positive trend. That trend itself would be represented by that 200 period moving average, and distinction between where prices are at the minute and the fact that that's got an upward slope on it is significant. So if this recovers, then what you've been doing is accumulating at resistance, because this is ultimately up here as resistance. Price action was very different before it. As you can see, it looks similar to Nvidia, and that has just been going up, and at this point it's put in a high. Since then it's put in divergent highs, and that's been the reason for part of the reason for it coming down, testing these 200 period moving averages as we go along. Now sitting on the 279 period moving average. That's a real thing. I know I joke about why I put it on there and how it's funny that I haven't talked about it out loud, but there's a reason for it, and it's a good one. Here you go, bounce going up. That would be nice. Plenty of areas where it would stop beforehand, but if it does go up and it has been accumulating at resistance, and your breakout on it could be fantastic. Is it rolling over though? Potentially. It is potentially. This second high peak proven to be interesting again. Let's see. You would think it wouldn't have broken over if it recaptures the 50 and 200 period moving average, especially before a death cross. What does it look like on the daily? 200 miles away, but also interesting that it comes into that horizontal. This previous low being a firm body close, and this obvious break above here. Interesting. It looks to me that though this is quite bullish. This does look very bullish. And if it is this, what we've drawn here on the daily, I mean, do you really mind about waiting on a couple of bits below? Do you mind about trying to get in at the lower side of this little formation when actually it looks like a huge ascending triangle? And if it is an ascending triangle, then let's draw the measured move off it and see where it would go. And right, this isn't even exact. Okay, it actually could be more aggressive than this, right? It actually could be. I'm not going to do it because I've already done the other stuff, but I don't need to, and that you see where this is going. Say it breaks out there, and then the measure move I was saying up to $183, and it could happen vomp like that. It could happen like vomp, this sort of thing. How long did this take? 27th of October to the 1st of December. Well, that wasn't the same formation as this. This has got a lot more velocity on it. If it did go up, I wouldn't expect it to go at that incline either. I think it would go faster. And we'll see, we'll see. But if you are buying this, you buy it support, not resistance. And if you're looking at it at longer time frames, then you're wiser than some. And the longer time frame says that now's your entry. It also does, though, say that there's a touch of bearish divergence that's been floating through this since its topside target. So it may well be that if you're not the sort of person who's desperate to get in on these kind of moves, but instead is desperate to reduce all possible risk that they face, then you might think, here's a good entry, and at 117, anything dropping below 113 would be bad, and then I'd put my entry here and my stop there, and I'd try and catch it on a fake out drop of this formation, which goes back up again. But what these often look like, these ascending triangles at the end of this type of move, which is distinctly different from the bull flags you see on AMC or the huge jump on GME generates. This is different, and this kind of thing, like Nvidia, when it puts in multiple touches of bearish divergence, and it's already tested a 200 period moving average on a daily time frame, which it hasn't done yet. But once that does happen, and if that continues, then they do tend to take a bit of a dip. And they'll come back and test one of these important support levels. So if none of those hold, then you're looking at this dropping back below $100 again. Do I look like that's going to happen from now? Not right now. Now I think it's bullish, and this is your buy. You can also manage your risk really easily here. So I think this is good. I think the measure move on it's good, and I'd like this. I'm a fan of it. So that was that. And we were going to look at ADA again. We talked a little bit about ADA. Where have all my cryptos gone? ADA, yes, it did. It's moved right up there, all-time highs again. Is it? Yeah, sweet. What does it look like here? Bounced at the bottom of the bullish control zone in this move, which is also what was that on the Fibonacci sequence. We would have drawn this out at the time. It's maybe come down and bounced, has it? Here was the previous high. No, that wasn't the previous high. No, that was the previous high. And then it came down, touched 236, dipped below, only got as far as the horizontal resistance, support that it previously set in as resistance here. Bounced up again, then went in all-time highs. Having put in the second high, it's now divergent. I don't trust that. See how it evolves tomorrow. You've also got weaker momentum yet higher on price action. I don't trust that. And I can see though that the positive trend has won out on this daily time frame, is now above the 38, and the ADX is strong, and I really trust that. In fact, it makes up for the other two things that I didn't trust, and I'd say not comparing these two highs would be smart. Going and comparing this move just to itself and saying, is it about to break parabolic? It already looks like it might do. Yay, this looks fantastic. It really does, but there's a divergent high there, and that's too much to completely ignore. It is on the daily time frame after all. Drop down to the 4 hour. That's the 12 hours. It's still useless. 4 hour 236. Well and truly tested that. Haven't dropped below it. Secured it. Went back up. Full test of the previous peak. That's okay. It is divergent though. Let's see what happens next. I'd be looking at this and thinking perhaps it comes down, tests that 200 period moving average. Maybe it comes into the 618. It's put in a touch of divergence. I know it says strong things on ADX on this time frame too. I know you don't have the divergence on your momentum there. You do have a cross, though it's definitely not a sell signal, and you've managed to maintain yourself within the bullish control zone here, and you're above the moving average. So get minds out again now. I'm not made up in mind anymore. There's a big dip down. Prices didn't go that much. That's, I suppose, in the context of an uptrend, that's quite bullish. And then you've accumulated above the center line here, and you're moving up again. That's also good. You're below the exponential. Sorry, the moving average on it. You've been given a sale there. You've been given a weak test there. Nothing really for sure on the early, but let's look left and see what it says. It's your own supports that are copying you to up here, but you're putting in divergent high. 1, 2, 3 of them. Yeah, no, this will come down. It'll come down to around 2.12 again at least, I think. Test this area of support, maybe 215, 216, that would be the sort of area. 216 something might be your first area to enter. Below that, you're looking at the 236 retest, 279 period moving average. Wick there, body close above the 200, and you get a really good fucking entry at 204 something. And that might be great in the context of an uptrend. You've also got risk management after that point. It would be quite easy. This thing will test this line eventually, but it could be much higher from now. And the first time that's likely to test it is, well, only Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Friday, will happen over the weekend, easy peasy. It is ADA. So yeah, I think this might come back, might do. That was a big drop though, and it still managed to bounce there. Maybe I'm giving conflicted messages now. I don't like this 3 touches of divergence on the top here. I know what's going to happen. It's not for me to trade that. Not the way it just won't work. Can't do it. I'd be looking at these entries and then I'd be like, I knew you were fucking people around, and I'd look for lower entries. Like the first one you think about that, even remotely close to it, is this area here. It is confluent with these 2 moving averages, but this is only a 50-minute time frame, so I'm not going to put much stock in that, and I'd expect anyone who was looking at that would know that you could just push it a little bit further and you'd stop everyone out here, so they would probably push it there and a bit more. Then you get your bounce and your recovery. So super difficult trade. Watch it as it happens. Think it'll retrace and go up. Long term ADA's going to $10. It's fucking great option. There just happens to be others out there that'll probably fill the same business purpose that it hopes to do, but then I'm predicting things that are many, many, many years in advance, and you can't actually do that because 2 weeks in advance is far too much in truth. So that's ADA stuff. Awesome. Got to run. Have a great weekend, Phil Legends. Eric, I didn't say hello to you enough the last few days. Thank you so much, Eric. Have a good day, buddy. Thanks. Dan Wellstars. Yo, you're all chatting. That's awesome. Corey, you're a legend too. Dan Wellstars again, you're a legend. There's also many legends. So many legends. Dead Money All Stars, you're a freaking brilliant guy. So many people here are brilliant guys, and many people I want to thank that I've probably forgotten and missed out, and please don't hate me. See Naked, please. Okay, a quick look at Naked. Why like that? There you are, Naked, up 10.14 on this move. It did get up as high as 5.85. Sounds great, but it's been better recently. This isn't all that bad. The thing that it's done that's really important is breaking out of all these formations and then retesting the previous highs and breaking them, retesting 618s and breaking it, coming back in subsequent to that and not even going down, filling that gap. What is that gap on 15 minutes, 30 minutes? Oh, fuck's sake, 1 hour. Let's see it here. 4 hour. I don't like that there's a gap and it's at the 4 hour. I wouldn't necessarily expect it to drop down more than it yet, but let's see where this high comes in. It's a lower high. The wick took it down afterwards. This was a positive reaction on this candle. Still didn't drop on the body lows lower than that area of horizontal resistance. That's interesting, eh? Still keep my mind on this 618 retrace of this overall Fibonacci here would still mean that you come back and get one more touch of this resistance here. Sorry, support now, and that would also be confluent with this pullback. That would be just below but above that moving average. Look at it other time frames, a really in 50-minute and whatnot, but you're 200 above you there. Normally you take a dink off that. The wick high, nice. Body close, not so much. It's also got reasons why it would stop again at 589. But your extension off this move is actually up at 6.5 and 6 plus, so we'll see how that goes. You've broken out of this wedge, which I suggest is a wedge. It looks like lots of other things we looked at recently where the right hand side of a move has been in a downward channel. It could also be then looking like a wedge at the end of it, and it breaks bullishly, and that's what gives the pattern breakout its inflection. Is like maybe the move it makes right at the last couple of minutes. So yeah, so like this is a positive retest, having broke out and then gone up again and breaking the 618 of the move. I think that's very positive. Let's see how it continues. It's also on the back of good news about possible merger, and people think that the people who they will be maybe merging with is Under Armour. And just to show this again because I love it, and it's like, you know, an interesting trade. Where is Under Armour here? Give me it. better not delete. You can't delete my drawings. Yes, those people think they're going to merge with Under Armour, right? And they had this bounce here. So you've got this was your short trade. I had to manage it myself this morning when everything opened, but it did look like you might potentially get this cover here. I wasn't able to take that with the way I was trading, the way I was busy, so I took this one. And I've got my short, which entered here, covered. And so that position's paying out both ways. No matter what happens, it's going to pay out one way the minute it's in profit in both. And I can close one, take the profit off the delta and have the hedge overall, or have the short position overall, whichever I particularly wanted. Actually don't particularly want a short position on this long term, but if it did drop, it could drop loads, and so I've got that cover. And that's a hedge also to my long on naked. Just so fucking happens to be because those two companies want to merge, and I didn't fucking know about this the other day, but Jesus fucking Christ, pardon my language, it was really fucking good news if it is those two, to have my own position hedged because of their decision to merge. Fantastic. And that naked trade, we'll go back to it and talk about it. You know, you're breaking out of this overall move here. It was like a massive head and shoulders off a huge reversal pattern. If it does play out on a weekly, monthly time frame, this is going fucking massive again. I tell you, it definitely could do. There's a lot of good things about this company, despite the shite people tried to put out about it at the start. You're in the potential inverted head and shoulders. The measured move off this alone, that doesn't break macro market structure. You know, I mean, it's debatable where you even draw it to. Let's not go offer the maximum move because it's already exciting. People get really excited. But say you take that and break out of it, and that's closest. That's going up to 1.5, and that would be, you know, 300% up from 5 to 1.5. We'd like that. Bing bong, you have 86 points. Congratulations, Corey. Bing bong. Awesome. So thanks very much everybody who tuned in and asked questions. Sorry the question you just answered it. Well, sorry, I asked the question but you just answered it. What did you ask, Dan? Well, let me go back. Tradespotting. Since you're looking at naked and see the future, what do you think they'd be looking to merge with? Any ideas? Oh yeah, cool. Grace, kiss. I was learning, yo, you can't be kissing Grace as a man. Always learning, you're kissing Grace and you don't know he's a man. Ha ha, tricked you. Hi all. Oh, you maybe weren't, maybe it's a cross. Yeah, I don't know. Hello everybody. I'm just fucking with you. Sorry, I asked the question you just asked. Well, Dan, I wasn't fucking with you. That was the truth, and maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but I've got a position on Under Armour. It's hedged. That position itself is the delta on it I'd be looking to manage would be on the long side, and I can use that position overall itself as a hedge against my naked position, which I'm just long and deep on, and I have been for a long time. Tradespotting. Do you like heavy metal? Some of it. Fucking right, yeah. Fucking right, man. Chris, what was it I was going to... Oh, you were asking me about something for the dark pool afterwards. Well, I'll show you what the chat is, Chris, and like, so you can see. I mean, I'm not, like, totally show you everything if you want. I'll speak to you on Twitter probably over the weekend. Pantera are fucking awesome. Thanks, Jamie. You did a base this. I think I played... Who did I play? It was closest to that. Nobody really... I was going to say Son of Reap, but not really. Thanks, Jamie. You're the best. Listen to every show 2x and a busy segment, but points don't really matter. Learning is a long-term benefit. Bum bum. Points don't really matter, though. Harriet, who's gone off to bed now, to rest her cotton little cotton socks. She's going for a wee rest. Harriet is designing a badge. It'll be an embroidered badge that'll be for the Renegades of Stonk. It'll be cool as, and it's like a NASA mission patch, and it'll be given out to everybody who's watched along across Rocky's channel and myself, and hopefully to the people we've met like Cosmic and Jackson Hunter and Josh from the Gist and Houston Wade and all the other people we've talked to, Tony Wright and those people from Rocky's Discord, Ronaldo Moreno, people like that, and then also everybody in chat who's accumulated enough points because they've watched along. And it's not about money, it's just to thank everybody who doesn't have money and can't contribute but has with watch time, and so that's judged on points. And if you've gambled all those away in the games beforehand, well, fuck, shit, that's a bit of a bastard, isn't it? Lessons for you there, but I'm sure you can build them back up again. Thank you so much, everybody. Everybody should chant Jamie like when you're at a concert. And then I come back again and do more of the videos. Dude, when you have a good week, man, you've earned it. Thanks, Electro Boy. I have fucking earned it this week. I've put in so many hours of work, it's insane. And somehow I've managed to keep my life together in the meantime and improve my environment that I've been living in. It's incredible. Jamie, Jamie. I'm going to go now if you start that. Thank you very much, everybody. Yous were fucking legends. And the credits thing will be fun too. Play that quickly. Yeah, credits thing. I'll play this here. Where is it on this thing? Roll, roll, roll your credits gently up the screen. Thank you, everybody. I've got another chat screen here. I could go to D Harker. Does it work there? Look, D Harker, Bait Buckets. No, let's go back and start these again. I'm big now, though, so I can say thanks and mean it, and you can see me meaning it. Fucking hell, look at all those people it's donated. Wow, that's incredible. And some awesome names in there, too. Look at you guys. Frickin' heck. Whoa, my God. Fuck. Fucking hell. New Doomslayer, CC Foster, Justin Pickerel, Kenya Menke, and Seagan43. Wow, thanks so much, guys. That's really, really, really appreciated. You're so good to me. Thank you. And the donations that I didn't see up on screen that came through from the Willow link and the PayPal stuff. Thank you so much. Tradespotting, I spent 2 weeks in Scotland 2 years ago. I must say it's a beautiful country and a wonderful people. Went to the Highland Games, enjoyed it. Oh, you did, You saw them tussling their cabers and catching that's when during the Highland Games, that's when we harvest all of the haggis. We catch the haggis, we burn them out from their grush, we catch them, and then, well, they last us for ages. JC is me, thank you very much, my 1569. Thank you so much, my lord, you legend. Grace Foundation, may we all have a great weekend. Great to see you all. You too, Grace Foundation. Thank you very much. Thinking of you, buddy. Jen Campbell, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for a wonderful review, Jamie. You're welcome, Jen, as always, as is everybody. I just want to roll these credits again. I'm fucking shocked by that. Roll the credits again. Sorry for all my crazy blasphemous explosions at the time. I didn't mean that. Roll credits. I said roll. Roll. Don't you think you're not going to roll? There we go. Oops, it was slow. I clicked it too often. Here it's back. Thanks so much, everybody. The legend, Bait Buckets, thanks for telling your body fuck off there as well. Cheers, Drusol, thanks, Apple Blossom, yo, Donny Papovich, yo, that sounds like a gangster name. Lepton, you legend. Did I do what you asked? Literal dumbass, thanks. Buck Morfish, Daniel Assange, HG, Mike Fitzpatrick, Monster Buddy, Pritik Patel, That Dan, Fabian Garcia, Pedro RS, JS, Jesse Cox, Wolfric Doomslayer, Chris Sweeney, Cocky Monster, Drew's Tech, Danko Bar, Corman, Phonetic Duck, Fishhead, Stephen Kimbler, Chesuski, and Jonas Hurst. Chesuski, I always get your name just out at the time. And Crack and Sean Jones, what were they? New subscribers as well. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much. What a fucking fantastic finish to the week for me. Thanks for helping me like that. Thanks loads. And there's another one there coming through at the end. Bink, bonk, bonk. Such a shame that those not close out, because over the piece it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It just gets lost at the bottom of the screen here and nobody can ever get it. But wow, it's fun. Thanks so much. I'll be back next week with more of the same, but more effort, higher production values, and lots of other exciting things. You gotta be happy. You gotta be all excited. Wow, fucking right you are. Fucking right you are. Friggin' right you are, mate. Oh, you're mate. And we'll also have other music and stuff on. So thank you very much. Another great week. That was it. This show is over now. Oh,